It's time for Think Fast, the speedrunning game show of fast times and sharp minds. I'm your host, Corvin May.
And I'm also your host, SWC19.
Tonight, Link in Parks, our Zelda Geography Showdown to celebrate Geography Awareness Week 2 days early. Our contestants for today's showdown, EDL666 and Glan. And in case you're wondering, there'll be another race after this one. We'll introduce those runners when we get there. I'm sure everyone knows the rules, but just to be safe, this is Think Fast, the speedrunning game show. Our contestants will race for the best time in Link's Awakening Switch, but with a catch. Sleuth and I can interrupt whenever we feel like to ask a trivia question, and if a runner answers right, we'll take some seconds off their final time. There's no penalty for guessing wrong, but focus too hard on answering the question, and your run might suffer. For all of you lovely folks watching, feel free to play along in chat. How are both of you feeling going into tonight's race? How are both of you feeling going into tonight's race?
Well, I'm not very practiced at the video game, but I'm okay at trivia. I'm okay at being funny.
I would say I have not practiced anything, but I'm pretty good at the video game, so we'll see.
Sometimes it's better to think, sometimes better to fast. We technically figured out in our Splatoon episode which one was objectively better, but we won't tell you the answer to that.
I don't know if thinking is a very good thing, honestly.
I often agree. I love having no thoughts. I love having my head empty. And that's why I host a show about facts.
Yep.
Yep. Are you all ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm on the start button.
I'm ready whenever.
All right. So without further ado, it's time to think fast in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so I guess to get started, why don't y'all tell us about the game you're running? This is not a Game Boy game.
This is not a Game Boy game. It's true.
Are you sure? It looks like one.
I think so.
They're all very small.
It pretends very well to be a Game Boy game. Mm-hmm. It's very, very talented at pretending to be one. It is, however, not one because... Yeah, I can assure you the Game Boy can't handle any of this game.
Yeah. So, this is the remake of the 1993 Game Boy game. I guess it's a little more based on the X version, actually, but got a lot of quality of life improvements in this version. Just, more buttons on the controller and stuff like that. But overall, the content is pretty faithful to the original. And we're going to be doing glitchless here, so we're not going to be doing any sort of major exploits.
So that means there's going to be some minor exploits?
There will be some minor exploits.
Glitch.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of things that are probably not intended, and by probably I mean definitely not.
Definitely not.
Look, as long as the community says it's okay, then it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a glitch, it's just a physics exploit.
I mean, it's not the only thing, Glenn, that is not intended that we do. It's obviously the most blatant one, but it's not the only thing that's not intended.
I'm not sure that it's not a glitch, it's a physics exploit holds up in court, but I'm not a speedrunning lawyer, so...
Yeah, I don't know if there's any precedent for glitches versus exploits.
That's our next show is like the People's Court, but it's speedrunning.
Yeah.
So this is one of the few games that are played in European language, specifically German. How did the community figure out that German was the fastest?
We literally displayed every language and put in an Excel spreadsheet how many text boxes there was in each language, and that's it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I like the way that we do it in the Pokemon community, which is to just start doing it, and then halfway through can be like, screw this, it's fine. This game's so long, it's whatever. It's like a fraction of a second at most. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I remember when Odyssey was a new speed game, it was kind of just like, yeah, Japanese is probably the fastest. Kind of just went off of like, yeah, probably, and then eventually it was like, no, Chinese is definitely a lot faster. And it's like, oh, well, okay,
That makes sense though if you think about it. I think.
yeah.
Well,
So I guess,
the big thing in this game is like after every dungeon, there's like a splash screen that kind of hints where to go next, and those are much shorter in German because they're only one text box instead of two. It's actually like 8 seconds per dungeon.
That's actually a lot.
Which is a lot.
It makes sense because in German, I'm sure the hint is one word.
Well, the Germans are more efficient. They applied their
True.
famous efficiency to the text boxes.
Just
Efficiency
most text
translates over to the
boxes.
game.
Most text boxes in German are 3 lines of text, whereas in Japanese, because it's something about they wanted to be able to display like 2 methods for the language, and there's actually a setting for that. There's usually just 1 line of text per text box, because if you turn on that accessibility feature, there's extra characters under the text that appears. So that's why not Japanese, even though there's probably less total characters in Japanese.
What language is the slowest or has the most text boxes?
Japanese.
Really?
I think so,
Very
yeah,
interesting.
because like I said, they added this. There's an extra button in the system settings in Japanese where you
Right.
can add a different method of displaying the same text under the text.
Oh yeah. Nintendo's doing that a lot
Yeah.
lately.
But the text isn't
really, but-
reformatted depending if it's turned on or not.
Like
Right.
like where they put the like katakana above the kanji.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a name for it, but I don't remember. But
It's
yeah, that makes sense.
furikana.
Yes. All right, it has been a while, and we've
Yeah, we got to do our actual show's concept. I think.
we've been productive talking about the game. However,
We've let you all
questions.
get off the hook with no questions
Is the
for
answer
too
Japan?
long.
Not yet.
No, but that's good. You have to wait for us to read the question before you answer. That's like the show has like one rule, and that's the,
Best game
one
show.
rule.
Guess the answer before the
Guess
question
the-
is asked.
It's time for Think Fast, the show we figure out who has precognizance.
All right.
We got a lot of questions prepared for y'all this week, specifically in 2 categories of The Legend of Zelda and also geography, as mentioned before. So we'll start off with Zelda, as that is the game we're playing. Sleuth, if you'd be so kind.
What is the only 3D Zelda game that does not give each boss a subtitle?
Link's Awakening Switch.
It is not Link's Awakening Switch, I hope. I think Link's Awakening Switch is like kind of considered a 2D one. I think by 3D, in this one, we're
Wink,
meaning
wink.
like the Ocarina of Time likes.
Between
But
between
aware
Ocarina of
that
Time and Breath of
there
the Wild.
was subtitles to bosses in any game.
My answer is Wind Waker.
Wind Waker is correct. That is 20 seconds for Glenn.
Yay. I'm gonna need
Yeah,
it.
for whatever reason, that's the only one where they decided not to do it. By subtitles, of course, you're meaning, well, it'll be like Ganon will show it below. It'll be like the Scourge of
Right.
Bad or what? I don't know the subtitles.
That's what it
Scourge
is.
of
That's
Bad.
The Scourge of
Ganon
Bad.
is the Scourge of Bad.
Actually,
that
the
was
Master
actually
Sword
the,
is the Scourge of Bad.
that was the
That's
working
my
title
subtitle.
for Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
The Scourge of Bad.
Movendorf is
Moving.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's fun. I wanted to say.
It's I think Dorf means village, but I'm not sure what Movin is.
Movendorf is when you get like sick dash dances in Melee as Ganondorf.
I mean, Ganon has some of the coolest movement in Melee, so that is a pretty moving Dorf.
You know what else is pretty cool?
What? What is
Is
pretty
it
cool?
you?
Okay, you don't get points for buttering up the host,
For
but we
comedy.
might need to add that because that was really good.
We do
That was
appreciate
good.
it.
All right, so this next question Within 10 square inches, how small is the smallest park in the world?
In 10 square inches?
Yes. It is
What the
small.
heck are square inches?
Oh. Oh, wait.
Okay. You
It's
can just
a,
guess numbers.
Just guess numbers. That's kind of what this question is.
Here, we can also convert it to centimeters.
No, it's fine.
If you give it in you could also give it in square centimeters, and we'll take that to within 25.
The hint is it's in American, which is why it's in square inches.
I didn't think this one through when I pulled it up.
Fine.
Much like all my ideas.
True.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. Damn, I didn't want to do 10.
It is all right. It is larger than 100. I don't know if that helps, but that narrows down.
Okay, I'll give it to you within 100 for square centimeters, because
My brain is seriously misfiring right now.
My guess is 420.
that is incorrect.
Damn.
Weird random pull there.
Yeah,
I've never-
it's a very arbitrary number to pick.
Yeah, it happens.
Any other guesses for the world's
When-
smallest park?
1,211.
1,211 square centimeters?
Sure.
That is incorrect.
Aw. May I just sent you a picture of the park in case you're interested in looking at it. It is.
I am interested in looking at it. Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna copy this into chat. Chat, you could look at the park.
So, any other guesses?
I'll give you each one more guess. Name a number.
A number.
6.
200.
We did say it was more than 100, so you can
I
have
know,
another
but you
guess.
said
You can each have another
you
guess.
said name a number.
Name a number that might work within the confines of the question.
That doesn't roll off the tongue as well, so I didn't say that whole thing, but... All right, I'm just gonna hit the button to show the answer. The answer is 374 square
Seven
inches.
square.
Located in
I was
Talent,
close.
Oregon, the tiny plot is a pollinator park for bees, and it's shaped like a hexagon, and it's very cute.
It is very good. I
would
have
like
the
a picture, but I
So
can't
cute.
really see it.
We'll put it in the chat so you can look at it later. But it's basically a little hexagon for bees, and there's like a single plant in it, and it's considered a park by the city, I guess. So good for them. They took the record from another park in like the same area that was 452 square inches. So
Does Oregon just love a tiny park?
Portland specifically.
That doesn't even look like it's 370. It looks smaller than that.
Yeah, square inches are weird.
I mean, 100. It's about
Area.
2 square feet. So like, wait, 3-ish? Yeah.
3?
Yeah, so
I-
the lore behind the park is the person who made it started with a 2-foot circle cut out of cardboard, and then just made it a hexagon.
Sure.
Oh,
So-
it's bees.
Yeah, exactly. And and that's it.
But there's Link in that park.
He could be. You need to kind of stand.
I think he could
But-
like fit if he stood up.
Link is in this next question, so we could just go with that.
Ooh.
If you're all down for that. I don't want to like impose, but
I mean, I'm talking
Go
to an
for it.
owl, so
just kidding. This whole show's
Go
about
back into
imposing.
the owl.
Spoos, if you would.
The GameCube and Wii versions of Twilight Princess technically don't feature the same Link. What is the difference between them?
One of them is left-handed.
That is correct.
That's true.
That is 10 seconds for E EDL.
On the Wii, Link is right-handed because he was left-handed in Twilight Princess, and they figured that basically mirroring the game would make it more natural for users because a lot of people are right-handed. So
Definitely
That's why
wasn't
they do
just
that.
more confusing in the end.
Yeah, well, Nintendo is known for their great decisions.
I mean, this Link is left-handed. The Link in this game is left-handed.
Yes.
I think
Most Links are.
Link is canonically left-handed. I think except for the ones in the Wii because
I want to say, I don't remember.
He's right-handed on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I think they kept right-handed Link for like the 3D games after
okay,
Twilight Princess. I want to say
He's
that's maybe
ambidextrous.
not. It's maybe not true. No, yeah, because if he's in Breath of the Wild, then that'll be all the ones. Because I'm pretty almost
Right.
certain in Skyward Sword because that's a motion.
Yeah,
game,
he's
so.
right-handed in Skyward Sword.
and I think between the GameCube and Wii, they just like mirrored the game. Right?
Yes, that's
Just
correct.
to make it easier. So that's interesting.
As far as I know, what happens like at rendering, it's not mirrored like in the game engine.
That
just-
would make sense. That'd be easier. I would think.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting designed decision.
Yeah,
Yes.
it sucks
Yeah, I
if you're
think
like one of the 10% of left-handed people, though.
Right. They should have a lefty mode like Guitar Hero.
It really should just be a toggle. You'd think. That was before games invented menus, though. I think so.
That was before accessibility was a thing.
True. I always forget how weird this game is, just like with all the little
Game is
references to
great.
Mario and stuff.
Yeah. Because they
don't-
were all kind of being made at the same time. So it was like, hey,
Yeah.
let's put some Mario enemies. Kirby's here.
It's there's the biggest reference they did was Richard, but nobody knows which game that's from.
Richard. That's a reference
Richard.
to. That's a reference to the GDQ hotfix as the producer of the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Monday shows.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, you see, Richard, it's the house with a ton of frogs in it. I'm sure Glenn knows that place.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
It's the best part of the game.
Us asking about how Kirby was in this game was a question in our very first episode in the Kirby
That's true.
game. So
That's true.
Oh,
we brought it all full circle.
full circle.
Unfortunately, we do not have any questions about Kirby for you, I don't think. So
That's
We have
good.
another. We have a question about geography though, which also
Whoa.
ends in a Y. So in a way, they're related. Don't
Yeah?
think too hard about that.
I won't.
What is the world's largest desert?
the Sahara.
That is
That is
incorrect.
incorrect.
Oh,
Another question ended in Y.
What is the world's largest deserty?
I'll give EDL a chance before I answer again.
I don't think I know any other deserts.
Go for it, Glenn.
I will correct my answer to Antarctica.
That is
That is
correct.
correct.
That is 20 seconds for Glenn. You can be a desert and be cold. It's all about rainfall, baby.
Yep. Antarctica
You sure
is
can.
pretty dry. I've heard.
That's like a
Except for all
classic
the snow.
trivia question, I think.
Yeah. I like that
Yeah,
one.
I had to remember that from when I was like 10,
Yeah, exactly.
and I was asked
And
that
there's no way I
question.
remembered anything from when I was 10.
Welcome to
This
Think
is
Fast, where we make you reminisce about middle school.
Look,
But,
that's
like,
why you do. That's why I
the
gave it
parts
to you as
of
a. This is like a
Were there
remake.
any?
It's a big retro themed episode.
Maybe.
Also fair.
We make you think about the things you learned in middle school. That's better.
We need a poll in the chat. Did you enjoy middle school?
The answers are no and
No.
absolutely not.
Maybe some people liked middle school. Honestly, middle school was not the worst for me. I just played a lot of computer games.
Me too.
Yeah.
I still do.
Whoa. In a way, middle school never ends. Like that song.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Middle school never ends.
Right.
Yeah. You know what does end?
By curling for stew.
I have no idea how I did that one cycle. playing a game as well, by the way. We're in Dungeon 2. At least I am. I hope EDL is as well. Otherwise...
Yeah, but I
That
forgot
would be
important
concerning.
stuff. I have,
Oh, did you forget the banana?
yeah. Okay, I'll go get it, but it's kind of bad.
Yeah.
Look, the entire purpose of this show is to make you think about things that aren't your speedrun, and thus lose your sense of concentration because of
Yeah, it's
there's only so
working.
much cognitive load.
It's totally working.
20 minutes in, we're doing great.
It's the insert the sickos meme here, and just imagine me like rubbing my hands maniacally. And speaking of, I don't have a segue for this. Please give us a question.
What is the longest amount of time between 2 new mainline Zelda releases?
Oh.
Here,
Remakes do not count for this.
yeah,
5 years.
my answer doesn't change.
5 years is incorrect. Any ideas?
I'm thinking hard.
You're allowed to keep guessing more than once in a row if your competitor doesn't feel like giving a guess, by the way. Because
One day.
One day is pretty short.
8 years.
8 years is incorrect.
8 years.
Any other ideas?
I like the
6
idea of it.
years.
What'd you say?
6 years.
6 years is
is
correct.
about 6
That is
years.
20 seconds for Glenn. Now this is a bit of a trick question, as it does that does imply that Tears of the Kingdom doesn't get delayed.
It also implies that it has come out. That's-
Well, the longest look. Could I phrase it a little better? Yes.
It will be about 6 years.
You got
but
the
it won't
question
be
right.
shorter
Why are
than
you
that.
complaining?
I have a question.
That's a good
If-
question.
Would it have been 5 years if it wasn't that game?
I believe it still would be this current break, regardless, if it hadn't been delayed. Because I think the longest gap before then was like 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Then
It's been like a really long
It
gap.
was 5 years between Link's Awakening and OT.
Okay, maybe that's
true,
right
yeah.
then. Okay.
Yeah, other than that, I think the current one.
Yeah, it feels less long maybe than it would be because the DLC came out. But it has been a while. People like it's easy to forget that like Breath of the Wild came out in 2016. It was a Switch release game. It was on the
2017.
Wii U.
I did not
2017.
forget. I know it's been a while.
wasn't
Just,
Wii U.
I just thought it was 5 years.
Definitely pretty forgettable that Breath of the Wild was on the Wii U.
Yeah, but
Yeah, the other one.
fun fact that I learned about Breath of the Wild
longest
while doing research for this is like, as we all know, or okay, well that's an assumption, but so Breath like
would be. As some of us know.
as some of us know, because originally Breath of the Wild was going to be a Wii U game, and then they had like delayed it a bit so that it could be on the Switch as well, and so like it's so menu heavy because of the idea that you would just use like the Sheikah Slate was supposed to be like
The game
your
pad,
in-game
yeah.
representation of the gamepad, and then they changed it a bunch to be like a little bit less menu-y for the Switch. And the developer, like, I saw a lot of people when it came out being like, actually, the Wii U version is like kind of better because,
Right.
like,
I'd believe it.
Kind of what the game was designed for.
yeah, the developers
Just
don't
like
agree.
the GameCube Twilight Princess is better.
The
Right.
GameCube Twilight Princess is better. I fully agree with that.
But it's definitely weird because, like, even if they didn't plan it to come out like combo release, they probably would have released it on the Switch regardless if
yeah,
Breath of the Wild wasn't
Yeah,
delayed.
they would've.
But like, because like it would have come out in 2016 and the Switch come out the year later, so I'm sure they would have made it for both of them. So it definitely is like a
Yeah.
weird design decision to tailor it towards the Wii U. But I don't know. I don't work at Nintendo, so I can't really weigh in that much on it.
You trying to say that Nintendo makes weird design decisions?
No, they would
True.
never. This is the first time.
They
Actually.
would never do that.
Yeah, the developers themselves were like, we think the game is better for making those last minute changes, which like I don't know if I agree with. As somebody who's a big Breath of the Wild fan.
They've been gambling with very off trends design decisions severely many times. Like you look at Mario Galaxy, that is insane, but you know it worked.
I mean, Zelda in general has been like has like a history of design decisions that the like leads afterwards are like, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. Like all the hand holding and Skyward Sword. Again, I say that as a Skyward Sword apologist, but that part of it is bad.
Also a Skyward Sword apologist.
Heck
I
yeah.
agree.
I think Skyward Sword is very underrated.
Yes.
I love Skyward Sword.
I played Skyward Sword as essentially I marathoned it over 2 days, so I got to avoid a lot of the hand-holdy stuff because a lot of it only happens the first time you launch the game. After, right? Which I think is the best way to play the original Skyward Sword because it makes it flow infinitely better. Were you supposed to die there?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, look, I'm
no,
gonna die,
that's such a bad mistake.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's never happened before.
Wrong show.
No, it happened
wait, sorry.
several times.
I like the idea of just like doing a trick. It's like, yeah, I've done that before. Just a regular, like, intentional trick. That has happened before, actually.
We should have that show. This is something that's happened before. You just do a run.
Yeah, do a run that you've done before. Wow, what a novel concept.
If anything unexpected happens, you have to kill the run immediately.
You know what else has happened before?
A question.
Whoa.
I want to do a slightly easier geography one than the ones that I keep randomizing.
Sorry, I wrote a lot of difficult ones.
Yeah, you wrote a lot of hard ones.
I like geography, I'm sorry.
Well, are you aware of it?
No. That's next
Happy
week.
Geography Awareness Week. Almost.
Almost.
We planned
We'll get
this,
there.
and it wasn't something that I learned this morning.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, of course.
let's do
Everyone's
this
in
one.
tune on when
course.
Geography Awareness Week is. Yeah, go for it.
What are the new 7 wonders of the world?
What do you mean new?
I only know
There are-
one of them.
You
Two.
can say it.
You get time for each one you get right. You don't have to get all of them.
Yes.
This is a multiple answer question. Would you like to explain the new 7 wonders of the world quickly? Please.
That's bad.
Yeah, so there's like the old 7 wonders of the world that were from like ancient Roman and Greek times. And there's like the new 7 wonders of the world, which are things that exist now that are considered the wonders of the world. It was a campaign started in 2000 to choose wonders of the world from a selection of 200 existing monuments.
Because of the original great wonders, 2 of them exist? Still, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
One of them is the pyramids of Giza.
That is incorrect.
No?
Wait.
That is not a new wonder. That's an old
not a
one.
new one? Okay.
Apparently
Yeah,
not.
so the Great Pyramid of Giza is an honorary modern
I
7 wonder
see.
of the world.
Well, I think one of the wonders of the world is Nintendo headquarters.
Unfortunately, that is not on the
Maybe.
list. But hopefully one day the world catches up.
Yeah,
okay.
someday it'll be the new.
Oh yeah,
Wonder of
that's
the
from
world.
the new. I'm not
Maya
supposed to
is
tell
an
anyone
HQ.
about that yet.
My Zelda
Right.
anniversary Game & Watch.
My
Any other
favorite-
ideas that aren't made by
monument.
Nintendo?
None of these are Nintendo related. Well, they might have shown up in Nintendo games, specifically the
Well, if you think
educational
about
ones.
If you think about it, the Switch was a monumental leap forward for handheld gaming, and so
Yeah. It's not Nintendo related, so like PlayStation.
The PlayStation 3 is a wonder of the world. Name popular monuments.
yeah. Name some monuments.
The Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower is incorrect. They're
Name
all older than
ones.
that. Yeah.
Well, except one.
Yeah, except one, which is
Except one. The Colosseum.
that is one of them.
Colosseum
That's
is one
5
of them.
seconds. 5 seconds for Glenn. 6 to go.
EN Tower.
That is incorrect. I'm shocked this question did not break the layout.
Canland Castle.
That is incorrect.
That's not correct.
Oh. Well, it's a wonder that I'm still alive here.
This
That is
run
correct,
is
but not
correct.
an answer. Here's a hint that'll help no one. I've been to one of them.
Oh,
I
everyone knows
have
where
too,
you've been.
apparently.
All right, one of them.
Marine World.
Incorrect.
One of them is in India.
Now I can't think of what it's called. Thank you very much.
That one.
Yeah, that one, the Taj Mahal.
That's correct.
Yes.
5 more seconds for Glenn. Here's another.
Let's see.
Here's
go
another
for
clue. One of them is in Peru.
That's what I was gonna say.
This is the one I've been to.
Oh,
I want to go there.
This is Richard.
Hi, Richard.
Yeah, we saw the frogs. That's the wonder of the world, actually. Richard's house. More
that's
frogs.
true.
If you want to see more Richard, check out the VOD for our last episode of Think Fast, where Richard was our substitute host because we were both busy.
All right.
All right.
Any other guesses? Or
Machu
we,
Picchu.
That is correct.
That is 5 more seconds for Glenn.
Is...
All
I'm
right,
struggling to think of anything else, so...
here's a hint. You can't see it from space, but people think you can.
Great Wall of China.
That's correct.
That's correct.
5 seconds for EDL.
Oh yeah, I know that one. I thought it was part of the old ones, and you said the new ones are not the old ones. So
Yeah,
I don't-
that's the one that's them both, right?
No.
Or is the Great Wall
only
not-
one? No. The only one would have been the Great Pyramid, but it's now
Really?
an honorary one. And the Great Pyramid is the only ancient wonder that still exists today. All right, the other ones. If there aren't any more guesses, the other ones are.
I have one more. Wait, now I forgot it. Never mind.
All right. So there's Petra, which is located in Jordan. There's Christ the Redeemer, which is in Brazil. And also Chichen Itza, which is in Mexico.
I heard of
I
exactly
wasn't
zero
going to say
of
any of
those.
those, so...
Well,
Those were deeper cuts, I would say.
yeah, those were definitely y'all got
That
the
was
easier
pretty
ones, I think. So pretty good overall. I mean, we got half of them. Now name all the 7 ancient wonders.
Oh, well, the pyramids.
All right, that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Yo,
This is
let's
not
go.
pretend, this is fun.
Yeah, the most recent one that isn't the pyramid, I don't know what happened to it, but it no longer exists as of the year 1494 AD. So they are not they're not a thing anymore.
Then I have no idea what it is.
Alexandria's library.
Yep. That's another
It
one.
was the lighthouse of Alexandria. But
Oh, was it?
That's a
yes.
Close enough. We
listen,
take
good
those.
guess.
I had the name of the place where it is.
All right, that was not an
That's
official
10.
question, but I will still give 5 for EDL for that one. That was good. So the other ancient wonders are the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, in which
Why
Wikipedia
am
says
I-
their
am I
existence is unresolved.
Trying to do glitches. I'm not doing glitches. All right.
So we don't actually know if the Hanging Gardens of Babylon existed. There's the statue of Zeus at Olympia in Greece. There's the Temple of Artemis in Turkey, which was like ancient Greek territory. There's a mausoleum at a long name that I'm not going to say. There's the Colossus of Rhodes, and then the Lighthouse of Alexandria. Things that everyone knows about, of course.
Oh yeah. It's just
Do y'all wanna take a little bit of a geography break?
I think that's good.
My brain
And then
wants
to
a
this-
break, but my brain's not gonna get a break, regardless of if it's geography or even no question. So
It happens.
I
What
think
Zelda
we're good.
character is popular in Japan but never managed to find success in North America?
Tingle.
Tingle.
That's right.
Tingle's
10
correct.
seconds for EDL. There's a TV
I like Tingle.
trope for this. That's called Americans Hate Tingle.
I like Tingle.
I think Tingle's funny.
Everyone hates Tingle.
I don't know how to feel about Tingle. I mean, he's got his own games that are Japanese only. A couple DS games that are Tingle protagonisted.
Tingle is a very like culturally specific type of humor. I feel. There's a lot of Japanese games with that like a very similar sense of humor, like Tulip and Incredible Crisis.
You know, I was not prepared for how hard it is to count my kills for the piece of power drop while answering
I am
trivia
not
questions.
counting my kills.
Wanna explain what you?
I'm trying to, but I'm not.
I screwed up with the banana. It's over. You know, I just kills don't
Fair.
win.
So why do you gotta count kills?
We get a power-up drop after a fixed number of enemy kills, called the Piece of Power, that temporarily makes you deal double damage, basically.
There's the goal
We
to
wanna
hit that
get
at
it
a
for
certain
one
point.
boss.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted it for a boss to prevent potential disaster RNG.
You can still get disaster RNG. It's just like a little less of a disaster.
Yeah, you can still get completely screwed off, but you know, it's less likely, a lot less likely.
I like that barrel room. It's got big rocket headquarters energy.
Except you can just jump over the conveyors.
Okay, look.
What if you
Giving
could
Link
jump
the
in a
power to
Pokemon
jump,
game?
very powerful.
Honestly, yeah.
The third dimension. Okay, apparently there's a question going.
Oh, okay. I didn't do that.
I didn't think I did it either. What is the only continent whose mainland spans across all 4 of Earth's hemispheres?
Wait, Earth has 4 hemispheres.
Wait.
Yeah, northern, southern, eastern,
No.
western.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, Eastern
Yeah.
and Western hemispheres. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, obviously
I
it's
don't-
Antarctica.
It's not.
Somehow
It is not
somehow
Antarctica.
somehow I don't think Antarctica is in the northern hemisphere.
Okay, fair enough.
So the northern hemisphere, or the northern southern are separated by the equator, and the eastern western are separated by the prime meridian, which is basically a line that runs through London.
That's because that's where the Prime Meridian is in charge of the government in London.
That's what PM
Well,
stands
why
for.
am I getting this?
And it would be
my God.
Africa.
That is right.
correct.
10 seconds for Glenn. In theory, that was like a trick question about Asia, but Asia's not. I don't
I
even
mean,
know
it
what
depends how you're
people-
defining the west and east hemispheres. So,
Yeah, I like how a lot of people are confused that there are 4 hemispheres
because
of Earth.
usually people say Europe is the west. Still.
Yeah, right. Well, not legally, but culturally.
No. I mean, it's all made up anyway.
True. The equator is pretty legit.
The equator is not made up.
I can no longer see the questions because my cat is in front of my monitor. So this is why we have two hosts for this show.
Or cat related.
In case
For
of
cat emergencies. He's like, why are you doing your silly trivia show instead of petting me? And
I
I'm
feel the bonk on the bush.
I did not.
Is there a
bonk
cat
on
in
the
this
bush.
game? Or is that an oracle?
Did you just dash through the bush? It's over, you win.
Yeah. Bush couldn't stop me this time. Is there a cat in this game? I don't think so. There's foxes.
Yeah, I think the fox is probably the closest thing to a cat there is, which is very much not very close.
I feel like foxes are cat adjacent.
If you don't think about it, the chain chomps are cats.
Yeah, I mean
Can we
they're
get-
dogs,
Ray, can
which
you-
are basically cats.
They are dogs. Ray, can you weigh in as our resident fox expert? Are cats fox adjacent or vice versa?
I think foxes are just canines.
I think foxes are their own thing.
Yeah, but I think they're
Foxes are
canines
dog
anyway.
adjacent? Wolves are dog adjacent. No? Okay, well, I'm owned.
Wolves are just dogs, but like old.
Old.
But old.
What if a dog was old?
Okay, foxes are in the family Canidae, which includes dogs.
All right, well, I'm wrong.
I was incorrect.
I feel
What's
like
like the
I feel like they're
closest thing
like
to cats then?
canine hardware running feline software. Okay, that's fair. That's
I like
fair.
that. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. It's like a Hackintosh, but an animal one.
Cat.
Oh no! I installed Linux on my wolf.
It happens. It happens.
I hate how many packages you have to install to install Linux on your wolf.
That's why dogs are more obedient than cats, because after you install Linux on them, you're given super user access.
And now suddenly I understand what people are talking about because it's not geography.
Well, good. Well, if you get a
Deep
little
cut at
question
us.
about geography, then Booth, please. This is your favorite subject.
What is the only UN recognized nation to not have red, white, or blue on its flag?
Why is this medium?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't think I know enough flags for this.
You know,
It's-
in flag culture,
I-
this is pretty well known. I will give a hint.
It's
It is located in
Nigeria.
the. It is not Nigeria. They have white. This nation is in the Caribbean.
I bet it's the U.S.
Somehow, I don't think it's the U.S.
Oh well, then it must be Canada, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Canada, when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
make
yeah.
it not red or white. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Canada, when you run it through the inverse filter.
Yes.
What
It's
is
a
it? Wait.
Caribbean,
I have no
nation.
idea what's in the Caribbeans, except the Caribbeans.
Is it Jamaica?
It
That's
is
right.
Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
20 seconds for Glenn.
That was a bit of a guess because I don't actually exactly remember what the flag looks like.
The
And-
flag of Jamaica is green, yellow, and black.
I can immediately picture it.
I thought that was a flag that was just pure green.
The former flag of Libya used to be pure green, but it is no
Okay.
longer. It is now. I think it has red on it now, or something.
The flag of Jamaica, really small, looks like a what shiny Metagross could be.
That doesn't help me.
Yeah, I have no idea
It's,
what that looks like.
It's got a yellow X on it basically,
Yeah.
and that's about
Oh
it.
yeah, I can think of. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think like I don't remember the exact stats on how many flags have what color, but it's something like 60% has like red, something like that. There's a lot, and yeah, every single one features at least red, white, or blue.
I have an
Except for
important
one.
cat update. My cat is now trying to eat the XLR cable going into my microphone.
I can hear that.
It's bad.
Everyone, please say hello to Cat.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I shot lead molar 3 times, but it didn't die.
Stop eating all the XLRs. What are you doing?
I did like a 3 cycle because I was short arrows.
I'm also short arrows, but I'm banking on the fact that it doesn't matter.
Banking. That's right. You know, just get lucky extra arrow dropped somewhere.
Yeah, that's
No,
always the
it's
strat.
more,
Just hope you get
it-
Just hope you get what you need.
It's more about the fact that because of the fact that I'm now not counting my kills and stuff like that.
All right, let the cat
Yeah.
guest host. I don't know if she's gonna talk. Can we get a question, please, Wednesday? No,
Nope.
Wednesday?
that's my cat's name.
Oh,
I'm not asking for a question to happen on Wednesday. That's not what our show is. All right, she doesn't want to
Oh,
talk.
good, because today isn't Wednesday, so...
Well, we can ask a question.
Yeah, we can do it. You know what? If she doesn't want
I think
to,
that's
that's
something
fine,
that we
we
can
can do
do. Take it away.
what is the only mainline Zelda game released before 2016 that is not playable on either the Wii U or the 3DS?
Zelda 2?
That is incorrect.
wait.
Well, I'll repeat it. What is the only
No, I
mainline Zelda?
understood. My
Okay.
brain is dying here because I think they're all playable on it, but I guess I'm
Zelda
wrong.
2 is both on Virtual Console, and I believe it's also in the GameCube. Like, wait, no, you can't play game. Wait, can you play GameCube games on the Wii U? I forget.
No, you can't.
On
cannot.
the Wii U, no. This does include.
It's on
remakes,
Virtual
by the
Console,
way,
though.
So
Here's a hint. It's a banger.
It's a
Well, I think
bang.
it's a banger. I like it a lot.
is it?
It's one of my favorite Zeldas. Unironically, I like it a lot.
Is it Skyward Sword?
It is not Skyward Sword.
Oh, no,
That
you
is
can play Wii
playable
games
via
on the
backwards
Wii U.
compatibility.
Right.
Right.
Is it
All
Link
right.
the Faces of Evil?
I thought
That is not considered a mainline.
Why not?
It should be, but
because
Should-
1984. I don't know.
Yeah, literally 1984.
Is it a Twilight Princess?
No, it is not Twilight Princess. That is also playable on backwards compatibility. Here's the hint.
And Twilight Princess
Is
HD.
It
Yeah.
cannot. It is not a Wii or It's not a Wii U, DS, or 3DS game, as all of those are playable via backwards compatibility.
and then there's also the remakes, so those can get
Yeah.
struck out as well.
Is
Then
it
I have no idea.
the one that is for some reason considered a mainline Zelda game, Four Swords?
It is Four Swords Adventures. That is 20
Wait,
seconds
oh,
for Glenn. I really like Four Swords.
Four Swords Adventures is fun, yeah.
Yeah. If you had the link cables and like multiple, the problem is you just had, like, it was not a game you could play unless you had like a bunch of friends with Game Boy Advance SPs.
Oh,
If
you're
you
right. I
did,
played
it's
that
like
on
a-
Wii, not Wii U. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
A lot of people are saying Link's Awakening, and you can play Link's Awakening DS on the 3DS Virtual Console,
Yep.
so that technically counts.
Every other mainline game can either be played on Wii U or 3DS Virtual Console, received a remake, or is Skyward Sword, and thus playable via backwards compatibility.
Or Twilight Princess, which is both a remake and backwards compatibility.
When we say mainline, it means we don't mean things like. So whatever the question is referring to like mainline, it means we're not talking about like Link the Faces of Evil or
I think we
Hyrule
should
Warriors.
be talking about that, though.
Crossbow
Or
training.
Cadence of Hyrule.
but
Link's crossbow training.
The Link's Crossbow Training is interesting because it was going to be a mainline.
It should have been.
But I think
originally
it's
called
backwards compatible anyway. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should be able to play that on Wii U.
It was going to be a, what?
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 Hold on, I'm
think-
being owned in my DMs.
Oh. Were we wrong with the question? We would never.
Never. I
Oh,
would never
okay.
get a
So,
question.
I have, unfortunately have to give. I have to take those 20 seconds away from Gland. Four Swords is incorrect.
Oh.
Four Swords Adventures is the answer. They are different games.
Yeah, I was actually referring to Four Swords.
Ooh.
With
I'll give you 10
Link-
seconds.
The GBA Link to the Past.
You're one word off. I think that's okay.
Yeah, Four Swords and it was released for a limited time, for free, 4 days only on the 3DS. But Four
I
Swords
actually
Adventures-
did not know that.
I remember that.
Yeah,
It was like the special like anniversary edition or something, and it was
Yep.
extremely limited.
so Four Swords is the Game Boy
Today I
Advance one.
learned.
Four Swords Adventures is the GameCube one.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy
it
to
is.
confuse them.
It is considered mainline,
Yeah.
For some reason.
and it's part of the Hero is Victoria's Child era
you know.
in the timeline.
You know, Triforce Heroes is also considered mainline, and that's a
I
trip.
don't know why.
Yeah.
That's even worse than Four Swords because it's only 3, not 4, which doesn't line up with Minish Cap, which I guess works with the mainline. So,
But it's Triforce Heroes.
yeah, because it's only 3, not 4.
Exactly.
Because like there
I mean,
is
the
like a
big
pretty
problem
agreed.
is,
Sorry, go ahead.
The big problem with it is you can't play with 2 players. It's only 1 or 3.
Huh.
That's just
Well-
more
Which is
offensive.
stupid.
For Triforce Heroes.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was originally going to be a 4-player game, and they ran into an issue where whenever they demoed it with 4 players, players just split up into groups of 2 and 2. And so they lowered it to 3, so that you were forced to actually work as a team of 3.
Just go split up in 2 and 1.
I mean, you could.
2 and 1, yeah.
Trying to count my arrows and see if it matters.
No, that's not the
In
input
doing-
I made, game. Thank you.
In doing research for this episode, I learned a lot of fun facts about Zelda. It turns out there's a lot of fun Zelda facts.
There are.
Yeah,
a pretty big
there's
franchise.
quite a lot of really, really neat Zelda facts.
For
And that's
example,
why we're here today.
let's not do that one.
Dot, dot,
Let's
dot.
do this one. Boost.
Oh boy. What non-randomizer Zelda run has the most
Oh.
views on the Games Done Quick YouTube channel?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Is it, Andy running Link to the Past swordless?
It is not.
That is incorrect.
I don't think I can name the specific run because
Oh boy, I'm
I
really
mean,
worried.
clearly it's
now
my
that
race
Ray's
with
responded,
TGH from SGQ 2022.
now that Ray's responded and didn't get the right answer, I'm worried that that YouTube's popular algorithm has betrayed me. Or like sort of. I thought that just does it normally. I think that's right. I think I'm right.
I'll figure it out. I'll fact
Is
check
it
you live on air.
ZFG running Ocarina of Time 100%?
It is not.
No, this is the correct answer.
Yeah. If
The
you're
one that we have
wondering,
is correct.
Swordless is second.
Is in. I knew Swordless had a lot of views. Is it Zelda running low percent 1 at KO? Like
That's
the
incorrect.
It
past?
is not. I will give a hint. It is from SGDQ 2017.
me running Kirby's Dream Land.
That is incorrect.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah. But I do
But go
not
check
think
that
that's a
out.
Zelda game.
I don't think I ran that on GDQ, but okay.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there's a
You
first
could.
for everything, though. If I submit it, yeah.
Any other
A
guesses?
big potential. It's very low on the board.
No, I don't know.
All right, the answer is Twilight Princess HD by Fino.
Really?
It has 1.5 million views, whereas your first guess, Link to the Past Swordless, has 1.4.
Interesting.
That is a big guess.
Third place is the Breath of the Wild 90% run from SGDQ 2019.
And Breath of the Wild's pretty cool.
That
Yeah,
it
I'm in
is.
Dungeon 5 and I have no idea what my kills are. Yeah. That's not happening.
I would argue Breath of the Wild is a good game. I think it's pretty good.
I
Hot
think that's a take. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be inflammatory on the hot picks, but I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's generally considered with pretty high regard. Probably.
Did I forget
Yeah,
a
it's
bomb
just a little
pickup?
bit, you know.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a game.
How come I have one bomb left?
That is.
I forgot a bomb pickup for sure.
Did you forget the one in D4?
Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. I got very distracted by all the packs that I didn't know.
Yes. See, no one can. You can't practice for this.
You can't.
You just cannot practice for us throwing random difficult trivia at you during your run.
It's not even. I think it's not even the trivia that's the most distracting. It's stuff like the Earth has 4 hemispheres.
True.
We're
The first
expanding
step.
minds.
Yeah, the first step is understanding the question.
No, the first step's every Wednesday. Only on the GDQ hot picks.
It's on Thursday.
Wait. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Wow.
Doesn't he know the schedule?
No, it's because I was thinking about my cat again.
No, Wednesday is on your computer.
No, she left.
Okay.
According to the Constitution of Switzerland, what is its capital?
Baron.
It is
That is
not.
incorrect. Bern is the de facto capital.
Oh.
But that is not
Geneva?
according to the Constitution of Switzerland.
Toronto.
Any ideas? Sorry, what was that?
I said Toronto.
It is
Yeah, I think
not
that's
Toronto.
right, actually.
we
Geneva.
want to avoid giving Canadian-specific questions when we have U.S. runners, and so there's no Toronto answers today. Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're both Canadians, so.
Yeah,
Wait,
why
what I think? All
I was
right.
doing the setup for the hookshot skip thing, but it's okay. I didn't do the trick.
I have found myself in a situation where I forgot the country, the nationality of our guests. I'm a professional host.
I think I know what happened, but yeah.
Yeah, that
If-
yes,
if
you are
you're-
you are right. Any guesses?
Of what
Geneva.
happened, or for
I don't know if
No,
Switzerland.
not that,
Yeah.
not that. Don't go into me being a disaster. We don't need to focus on that. Everybody knows that. That's not a good question. Any ideas? Capital of Switzerland according to its constitution?
Washington D.C. I don't know. I don't
answer
know
is-
anything about Switzerland.
There is not one.
Oh.
The Constitution does not define a capital or federal city. But Bern is the de facto capital, which is basically where all its government is.
I gotta say, Ray is kind of smashing both you in the questions today. Ray's doing really well in chat.
I mean, I'm playing a video game. Ray is not playing a video game.
True.
That's true. I mean, I technically don't know if that's true. Ray could be playing RuneScape right now,
true.
and
That's
I would
true.
never know.
No, that's what I'm doing. Wait.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's not what I'm supposed to do.
There are like a lot of countries that have multiple capital cities and like a couple that have none. Kind of interesting.
That is interesting. Geography is cool.
I didn't know that there
Do you know
were
this
countries
geography
with no
awareness
capital
week?
cities.
I did know it was Geography Awareness Week, but it is good to make everyone aware of Geography Awareness
Exactly.
Week. This week is Geography Awareness Week.
Exactly.
Next week
A
is
lot of our
Geography
questions-
Awareness Week.
I gotta say, a lot of these questions are definitely more about, like, socioeconomics and politics than they are geography specifically, but, you know,
Yeah, well-
countries are on a map, so it counts.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of Earth, therefore it's geographical.
Yeah,
Speaking of
I
Earth-
guess so.
How many-
Speaking of Earth,
How many European Union countries use the euro?
16.
16,
I know
and all of them
16
are both
ignore all of
incorrect.
Yeah, I know it's not all of them.
there are 27 EU member nations.
20.
It's
That is
not
incorrect.
20.
26.
That is incorrect.
69.
That is more than there are.
Oh, okay.
But I am curious where you got that number if you'd like to explain it for the class.
Seven.
I just
17?
thought it was funny.
Okay.
It is-
17
it
is incorrect.
3.
3 is also incorrect. I could
A couple
probably,
people in
like,
chat are saying more than one, which is correct,
that is right.
but not correct enough.
22.
It's not
That's incorrect.
22.
We'll give you each both one more
3.
guess.
It's not 23.
All right, one more guess after this.
25.
hard part- 25 is wrong.
Oh.
EDL, one final guess.
Well, I thought I used my final guess, but
Now
okay.
you got another one. I said
8.
8 is wrong. The answer is 19. So glad you were very close. I'll give you 5 seconds for being the closest.
Yay. I almost said 19. Does that count? For
You guessed 20,
anything?
so that one was only a medium for. Well, so the reason why that was medium is because whenever we have a number question, we just let you guess forever. But that was pretty
Right.
hard.
Yeah, a lot of our numbers are not as hard as they could be because you get 100 guesses. There are also a couple other countries that use the euro but aren't in the EU. But those don't
That's
count.
interesting, I guess. I didn't know that.
I mean, they're still in Europe, but
I actually can't think of any countries that don't. That are in the Union since the UK left.
Yeah, I mean, the UK is the obvious one. Let me see if I can get a list. Euro countries that don't use the euro. Bulgaria, Croatia, Czechia, Hungary, Poland, Romania, and Sweden. Sweden's the other famous one.
Oh yeah, I knew Poland.
What am I doing?
yeah,
Random stuff.
currency is.
I don't know
Currency's my
how to
favorite geography
pronounce the
question.
currency of Poland, but I know it's not the euro.
It is not the euro, therefore. What is the Polish currency? Oh yeah, it's that one.
That
it like
one,
the-
yeah.
Like, it starts with a Z, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Zloty, I think.
it is.
There's no way I
Zloty.
pronounced that. There's zero way chance I pronounced that right.
It is the Zloty, according to the internet. Now you know.
Now you know.
Oh, you know.
We can figure out what else our runners know today, though, with another question.
Whoa.
Whoa. What is Point Nemo found in the Pacific Ocean?
What's it called?
What is Point Nemo, which is found in the Pacific Ocean?
What is it?
That's the spot where Nemo got taken by the fisherman.
Yeah, I think that's
movie.
right.
No, that's P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea if that's right. That sounds right. And I've not watched that movie in over a decade.
That is correct. It is an iconic address.
I'm
Any
not sure if
ideas?
I'm doing the route properly.
It's a swim up bar.
That would be fun.
That would be interesting, given what this
That'd be
location
fun.
actually is.
But that is not, unfortunately, not the right answer.
Damn.
Let's see if I can narrow it down any further. It is in the middle of the Pacific, which really doesn't help much because that's half of the
The
world.
middle
but
of the Pacific.
Is it like the furthest point away from land?
That is right. That is 30 seconds for Glan. It is 1,000 kilometers away from any land. It is also sometimes called the point of inaccessibility.
Yeah, when you're there, the closest people to you are the people in the International Space Station when they fly over.
Yep.
That's interesting.
It's also the point that is the worst for people with color blindness.
Why?
It's because it's the point of inaccessibility.
Ah,
Look, they can't all hit, okay?
I guess.
That's I mean, it could be a swim-up bar, but you need to go pretty far to get there.
Yeah. I mean, who's to say there isn't one there?
It's true. Where do you how do you think they get their like supplies? They just have like a boat go 1,000 kilometers every
Yeah, I
Every
mean,
once in a
people
while.
swim there, so they can just
That's true.
swim supplies there.
Oh, right. You just have a backpack.
What's the name of the merchant on the ship in Wind Waker?
Beetle?
Yeah, I'm picturing like Beatles shit, but it's been like over 1,000 miles away from land, but it's converted into a swim-up bar.
Probably doesn't get a lot of customers.
No, it seems dangerous, honestly.
I mean, there's some places where Beetle is sailing with his ship that are extremely dangerous. I have no idea how he's expecting any customers there, but you're not. He's the one. Being
It's
like in like 8 or 10 different places at the same time, so like it's fun.
Yeah, like think about it's like you learned location is important for real estate, but you like took the exact wrong message from it. I don't like the face in the floor. That's unsettling.
It's very super.
He doesn't like you then, I don't know.
Ooh.
It's kind of mean.
My bad. Demonenfratz. I should be a little respectful. I apologize.
Okay, I didn't die.
I do like the effect. I think the effect is good.
Now I'm shocked that you're this far, but also not really.
Alright, chat's telling us that the Euro answer from before should only be valid to the end of the year, as Croatia is set to adopt the Euro as its official coin starting in 2023. So it's very good that we use this question now and didn't just keep it in our
Yes.
backlog.
True.
Yeah. I knew that was a thing. Of course.
Yeah. We're trivia professionals here,
Yes.
which is why I think we should keep that streak going with another question.
Of course.
Please, if you could.
What country has the largest land claim in Antarctica?
The U.S.
It is not the
That's
U.S.
UK.
It's
That is
not the
incorrect.
UK.
That's a hint. Do your hint.
It's not a conventional country when it comes to land claim.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, you have like the UK that kind of just claims all the land they can.
Okay, okay.
It's not them.
It doesn't have a history of claiming land, like of expansionism, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
I guess.
kind of.
Kind of. Okay, here's a different hint. Think about countries that are closer to Antarctica.
Argentina.
That is incorrect, but that was a good guess.
It's pretty close.
It is really close.
And I think it's up there. I think it has some.
South Africa.
I said
That is
that.
incorrect.
It's not South Africa.
I'm just gonna blow all my guesses. New Zealand.
New Zealand's incorrect. Also, I will say, you can keep guessing because the only thing worse than flooding us with guesses is dead air.
Okay. Well, Hyrule, obviously.
Hyrule's actually has the second largest land claim.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
And it's busy messing up my boss fight.
Yeah, the real trick is to get us to do the hard questions while the other runners in a really tricky part and has to pay attention.
Yeah.
EDL, do you need
I
us to
feel-
repeat the question? Or you got it?
Oh no, I got it. I feel like that's been the case, but probably the tricky part is the whole fucking run.
It's a hard one.
Is it Australia?
That is right.
Yeah, I would have never done
We gave
that.
you a pretty big hint, so we'll give you 20 seconds. 20 seconds to gland for that one.
It's a lot of
I did
seconds.
almost give the question away. I'm surprised
heard
neither of you
that.
caught it. Because I definitely went, here's a hint. It's think about countries that are close to Antarctica.
I mean, a country that's close to Australia is New
What
Zealand.
am I doing?
That is true.
Yeah, well,
my
I didn't say
God.
I didn't say the. Oh, that is true. Yeah. I misheard that. Yeah, the Australian Antarctic territory consists of about apparently 42% of it, and it's pretty much inhabited by research staff and penguins. So,
Well, I like
Good for them.
penguins.
Yeah.
yeah,
Penguins
I
are
love a penguin. So, I was certain that I screwed up that question immediately.
I was waiting for you to just say it, but you didn't.
Oops. Antarctica, exactly.
Antarctica.
But I think y'all named most of the other countries that own it. The UK or have some claim. The UK, New Zealand, Argentina do all have some, as well as Chile, France, and Norway. They all lay claim, and there is some part of Antarctica that is unclaimed. So you can be the first to
Really?
go claim.
So I just
uninhabited
claim
land.
it like right now?
There would probably be some legal issues, but I guess
Oh.
technically. If you want like some percentage of ice.
I don't know what I'd do with it. I don't even know what I'd do if I owned a house, so I don't know
You
what I'm gonna
can-
do with Antarctica.
with 10% of Antarctica.
Yeah.
You can probably harvest some ice and like make a nice drink or something. I don't know.
Antarctica, even usable?
Research.
Well, I mean, like, it's probably not that polluted, right? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure it is, but has anyone on the internet asked if
here.
Antarctic
How
ice is edible?
polluted is Antarctica? This is our welcome to our hot pick show. We just Google stuff. It's one of the cleanest places on Earth.
It's yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's nobody there.
The air described by researchers as truly pristine and unaffected by pollution. But the air that feeds the lower clouds was free from any particles produced by human activity or dust from other continents.
Sounds pretty nice.
So
I had a middle school teacher who was like part of a research program to go work in Antarctica for a summer, like an Arctic summer. Which is where I learned that. Yeah, it seems cool. Though I guess there's a lot of like issues with like Antarctic tourism and stuff, but
yeah.
Apparently that's where I learned that like researchers there have to like have a chocolate bar on them at all times. Just so that you don't
that's good. That's life advice.
Yeah, so that way you just to make sure you have the calories, and if you get to the like the cold parts, that changes to a stick of butter.
Ooh. Yum.
Would you really want to eat like a frozen solid stick of butter?
No, I wouldn't. It sounds awful.
Could you even do that?
Well, if you keep it close to your body,
right
probably. I guess you could. I don't know if you should, but
I'm gonna put my butter in the freezer. I'll be right back.
Yeah. God, I remember being in middle school and hearing that and being like, all right, well, I don't want to do research in the cold part, I guess.
Hate to break it to you, but I think all of it's the cold part.
Well, okay, but one part's the cold part.
Oh.
Like we got the here in Chicago, we got like the polar vortex that got down to like negative 54 degrees Fahrenheit a couple years ago. So if you think about it, I've pretty much been to Antarctica.
Yeah.
If you know, there's all this part where the air just burns your face off. That's the warm part.
When it's only like minus 30. That's when it's nice and toasty.
It's pretty warm.
Yeah, exactly. Balmy. Pretty much tropical. Yeah, I'm gonna start a new business selling butter popsicles for Antarctic researchers. It's like astronaut ice cream.
For 10 seconds, what is the current temperature at the McMurdo Research Center in Antarctica in either Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Like right now?
Right now.
Negative 50.
It's not negative 50.
Negative 43 Celsius.
Nope.
It is 9 p.m. there, and it is technically starting summer.
I mean, it's day no matter what time it is.
That's probably true.
Pretty much.
If it's summer, yeah, it's just day the whole time.
It is negative 21 degrees Celsius or negative 6 degrees Fahrenheit.
This one says negative 11.
You know, that's like a pretty reasonable winter
temperature.
day.
I'm on the
honestly, like when I saw negative 11, I was like, yeah, that's cold. That sucks. But like, I could like that.
It's
that's
not
fine.
unbearable. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to be outside in it for too long.
Worse here than that.
But if you had like the right gear, it'd be fine. Yeah, exactly.
The mean annual temperature is minus 18 C. Temperatures may reach positive 8 C or 46 Fahrenheit in summer and minus 50 C in winter. It's
I wouldn't want to be in the winter. But like honestly, that just sounds like winter here.
That's like way warmer than I thought.
Yeah,
right
same.
now, where I am in Texas, it's like plus 50 and it feels cold. So.
Okay, that's because you're weak.
Exactly. Someone had to say it.
You just got to get inured.
It's
been a while since we've done another done a question. I think we got in a real big Antarctic tangent.
Good.
Yeah.
Austrarchia, or whatever I called it.
Austrarchia.
What is the only lake that the axolotl can call its natural habitat?
The what?
The axolotl, which is commonly mispronounced as the axolotl.
Thank you.
If you can name where it is, you'll get the points.
Where it is.
In water.
In water where?
All lakes are in water, so I'm not going to give you that one.
Is it in Mexico?
It is in Mexico, so you'll get some points for that. You will not get the 40 seconds for getting the very hard question.
I don't know
Worth
that.
noting, this was submitted by Ashalote fan 17634. So, thanks.
I saw this one and I was like, all right, we got to include this one
Yeah,
for our
I mean-
geography episode.
It's important.
Martha's Bay.
Incorrect.
It is technically a lake, though.
Is it? It's
One
a
more guess
bay.
each.
Lake Ontario.
It is not Lake Ontario.
Lake Ontario, comma, Mexico.
Yeah.
That sounds
They wouldn't put it
Spanish enough
past
to
me if there
me.
was one. Yeah, makes sense. It is not.
Yep.
though.
I'm assuming there are lakes in Mexico, but I'm not aware.
I couldn't name a single one.
All right, the answer is Lake Xochimilco.
Oh,
Which
of
is in
course. That was on the tip of my tongue.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should have known
so-
that. This was a very easy question.
10 seconds for Glenn for getting the country right. Oshalots are very cute. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the new Whooper.
True. The lake is just south of Mexico City.
Also, shout outs to a guest who had to drop who would have loved that question. I'm not going to name them because they dropped.
If someone out there knew that offhand, then good for you.
I'm sure the person who submitted the question did.
That's true. That's very easy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with pronouncing it right, which I try to do, is that then people don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Because no
Yeah,
one knows
that's
the
what
pronunciation.
exactly what happened.
It's the axolotl. I'll
It is
be the one to
It is the
say it.
oshalote.
It's the oshawott.
Yeah.
No, that's an otter.
Oh, well.
Actually,
Pokemon got it
Oshawa
wrong then.
City in Ontario, on Lake
True.
Ontario. So I think I was actually right.
Is the Oshawa an animal? I was going to say a Pokemon.
No.
If so,
Have you all seen Oshawott? Oshawott with high vis and a hard hat. It's very good.
I see.
Forklift
not to be
certified
confused with the
otter.
ocelot.
Forklift
Yes.
certified.
There are too many things that are Oshawott-esque.
Like otters.
Yeah.
And Duat.
Yep.
Okay, I'm getting the actual worst bowl RNG I've ever seen in my life.
So what does the RNG? How does the RNG work here?
You're talking about the
Oh,
boulders?
the boulders.
Yeah, it just puts boulders in your face. That's how it works.
Okay, that's fair. I missed the word boulder, I think, and so I was like, all right, what's random here? And then I saw the boulders, and I was like, never mind, I've answered my own question. All right.
And the trivia results from my mind. I guess we'll see if I get really lucky with the next questions.
You never know. We do have a lot of them.
We do.
We could also go with a lot more. We've been kind of slower than our normal pace here, so we can pick up the pace if y'all want. Do a little bit of a lightning
Yeah,
round if y'all are
sure.
interested.
Ooh.
All right,
Yeah, go for
let's
it.
do it.
Can't
What are the
really
two
get worse.
mainline Zelda games that composer Koji Kondo was not involved in? There are two answers to this.
I'm trying to think.
But for a little bit of context, he has not been like the music lead for a while, but he has been at least like music director or like involved or like music producer, like involved in the process in some way for all but two mainline Zelda games.
Link the Faces of Evil and the Wand of
That is-
Gamelon.
Neither of those are mainlines, but
Okay, but
Unfortunately,
Koji
since
Kondo
the
was
last time
also
we said
not
it,
involved in them.
But They're not mainlines yet. Someday, I'll make a change.org petition to make them mainlines, but until then, that is not correct.
We get a poll: should Link the Faces of Evil be considered a mainline?
I think so. I mean, you just have to see the game once, and you'll understand.
If chat believes this should be a mainline, then we'll give you a second for it.
Just one.
Well, it's not one of our two answers, so we don't want to go too far.
Right. Of course.
Any ideas?
Well, it will be one of the 4 answers.
True.
Both of them have been said previously by somebody in context of another question. So
Both of them are Zelda games.
Skyward Sword.
it's not Skyward
Which
Sword.
one? It is not Skyward Sword.
I just named a Zelda game.
That work. You could just name Zelda games. You might get
could.
points.
I
Like,
did have a guess, but I don't anymore with that hint.
any ideas of what Zelda games there are?
Finish Cap.
It's not Minish
Phantom
Cap.
Hourglass?
It's not Phantom Hourglass.
That was not previously said anyway.
That's surprisingly split on whether or not CDI Zelda games should be mainline. Any other ideas? What I'll call it?
Triforce Heroes.
Zelda 2.
Not Triforce
Zelda 2
Heroes.
is one of them.
Zelda 2 is one of them. Yep, that's 15 seconds for Glenn.
The other one is probably one that you might not think.
Yeah, the other one's kind of surprising. Have a couple more seconds.
Four Sword Adventures.
It's not Four Swords Adventures. Glenn, any final guess?
Breath of the Wild.
That is right.
Okay, that was a wild guess.
Breath of the Wild
Plano.
guess. 15 more seconds for Glenn.
Please don't. Okay,
Please
Plano
don't.
was punching me in the face.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
Please do not give me the time.
I was like, you don't have to if you don't want it. Also, Glenn will get 1 extra second, as chat has voted that the CDI Zelda games are mainlines. So technically, that's 2 seconds.
Congratulations.
1 for Gamelon, 1 for Faces of Evil.
The chat was split 17 for yes and 13 for no. So, with our quick poll.
Really? 13? I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I actually did not know about the Zelda 2 one.
But
But it makes sense,
My
thinking about
original thought would have been the Oracle games because they were made by Capcom.
I said Minish Cap.
I think I
Yeah, I mean, like the more obscure mainline ones did make sense, but guess not.
I mean, it makes sense that like I could, for those, it like when you think about it, it does make sense of like him being involved in some way.
Right.
Whether,
because
like, in, like,
on
an
Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was in an era where like he was a lot more active in Zelda. Whereas these like for like the recent releases up until Breath of the Wild, it would be like one song, maybe.
He's done a lot of stuff.
All right, so these things you keep pushing, they look like cakes to me. Am I the only one?
Yeah.
We
They
called
kind
it
of look like a little piece of
Roombas.
cake. Roombas make sense, yeah.
Yeah, with a
But
little cherry
that's
on
not.
top.
They're called. I think the only name the game gives them is the Rock That Rolls, which
I like that.
The rock that rolls.
I like that
Yeah.
name.
Now, I think we do have a question that is specifically related to this game.
I thought you were going to be specifically related to the rock that rolls.
We do not. That'd be fun, though.
What is the name of the rock that rolls?
Let's see how much you all know your Link's Awakening history. According to creator Takashi Tezuka, what television series inspired Link's Awakening? There's a typo in the question.
Alright,
Yeah,
you got me with the trivia.
I
would
don't
never know this.
I
would
don't
never
know
know
that.
this.
I didn't even hear the question. What was it?
What television series inspired Link's Awakening, according to creator Takashi Tozuka?
Was it the Mario Brothers cartoon?
It is not. Good guess.
It's not a Nintendo
Yeah.
show.
Seinfeld.
It is not Seinfeld, but that would be pretty funny.
It would be good. It is an older show.
I mean, it's a 90s show.
Well, yeah, true. It has to be, and it's
That's an older show.
and it's no longer running. Is more so what I meant to say.
It was also a relatively
what I'm
short-lived
doing.
show.
And
The
it is
never-ending story.
No.
That's a
Here's a
movie,
hint.
I think.
Like Link's
Listen,
Awakening,
I'm trying.
it also got
Yeah, that's fun.
like Link's Awakening. It also got a breath of life in recent years. If that makes sense. I don't think it's
what that
technically
means.
a remake, but it got like a sequel.
It's a very cult classic-y show.
Yeah. Here's another.
So, very,
Here's
very
another
off
hint.
track.
Yes.
Is that actually right?
20 Seconds for Glide. It is Twin Peaks.
What?
No idea
Both
what
are
that
about
is.
a small number of characters in a small town.
That doesn't make sense. That was a joke answer.
And it was right.
That's the best kind of answers.
Exactly. The best way to be funny is to be funny and right.
Okay, fair.
It kind of makes sense in that both of them are like have like a sense of like surrealness to them.
I never watched it, so I don't know.
But it is also yes. That's a deep cut for sure.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah, I would have never known that.
Also, yeah, at some point you all kind of got neck and neck here.
Did we?
In terms of like game progress, yes.
I don't think we did.
Unless there's multiple.
This dungeon kind of loops a lot.
I
Okay.
died in a very stupid way.
And it's possibly not.
If Gan died in the dungeon, then yes, it's possible. I didn't know that detail.
We will see.
Okay, we are supposed to be rapid firing these questions, and I once again got extremely distracted
Yeah.
by the lovely
understand.
conversation. So, Spoos, give us not that one. This one. Give us this one.
Sure. How many countries have gained independence from the United Kingdom?
We'll give you within 3.
8.
It is more than 8.
I tried. I
I'm
have
not
no clue.
surprised.
Any ideas?
20.
It is more than 20.
I'm not surprised.
A lot of people
I
are
do
saying
like
all of
Chan's
them.
answer of everyone.
All of them.
Yeah.
It is not all of them. It is a lot of them, though.
What EDL guess?
I already did, but 32. I'll just guess
It's not
again.
32.
25.
It is.
Not
It is. It is not 25.
Hmm. 69.
That is incorrect.
See, if that was correct, I assume you wouldn't have made it a question.
Oh god. I cannot play the game anymore. That's why I'm not touching this anymore. This is-
Any more guesses?
40.
40's incorrect. Edie, I'll give you one more guess as well.
95.
It's not
95 is incorrect.
It
The
is
correct answer.
65.
So your joke guess was one off from being within the range I set.
Kind of less than maybe expected, but still a lot. On average, there is an Independence from the UK Day about once a week.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes.
All right, let's keep this rapid fire bonus round going. The problem with the rapid fire bonus rounds, I have to find another question.
True.
An estimated how many penguins live at or near the North Pole?
0.
That's correct. That is 20 seconds for EDL. They are only found in the Southern Hemisphere, except for in zoos and aquariums. And at Mr. Popper's toy store, or whatever was going on in that.
I mean, there might be one that kind of just like made its
Got
way
lost.
up there. Yeah, very
Yeah,
lost.
just got really lost. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wrote at or near the North Pole, because there's both nothing there except ice and no penguins.
Yeah, the North Pole is extremely barren. There's very, very, very little that can live there.
right.
Just elves.
Someone's gonna find a link of like the lone penguin that lives up there, and then they're gonna make a movie out of it.
Penguin.
That's the next game, is a link to the
That's
lone
just-
penguin that lives up there.
It's just the hole through the center of the world. They fell down.
True.
That's what
That's
they
what
don't
the
tell you
poles
is that, yeah, the pole, it's like a fireman's pole. It just goes all the way down.
It goes through the entire world.
Have you ever seen a globe?
True.
There's the pole in the middle.
That's true. Yeah.
What is the northernmost capital of a country?
In the world, like the northernmost country's capital in relation to the world.
My cat is now trying to eat my mouse, which is fair because that is what cats do, but I don't want her to do this.
I don't know the capitals, so that's not good.
If you can name the country, we'll give you like,
I'm gonna
most of the points.
I'm gonna guess Norway.
It is
It's
incorrect.
not Norway, though not a bad guess.
I'm
Is it-
terrible at geography. So I'm
Isn't
just trying in.
Helsinki?
It is
It's not Helsinki.
Helsinki.
Ah.
Definitely in the right area, though.
You're on the right track.
I didn't do the cutscene skip.
Any other
Okay.
ideas?
Is it Stockholm then?
It's
not Stockholm.
Think of what's further north than that.
I don't know anything that's further north than Norway, except I guess Russia and Canada, but that it's not those I
of
know.
those.
I just know it's not those.
Any ideas?
Northernmost capital. London, obviously.
That is that's the prime meridianist most capital.
Okay. Yeah.
London is not even that
they're not
north.
north.
London's like as north as Chicago.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Hey, that doesn't even help me.
I
The answer is Reykjavik, Iceland.
Oh, Iceland, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a country.
So y'all were in the right
It's
area with
That's a
the
country.
Norway, Sweden, Finland, but there was one more.
one more.
And it was Iceland. I don't know what the
Yeah,
second
people live there.
northernmost. There are a good amount of people that live there.
Oh, I knew that. I just forgot about it. There's so many countries.
The I think the second most Second northernmost is Helsinki. Third is Oslo, Norway. Fourth is Estonia's capital, and fifth is Sweden's capital. So you were in the top 5 3 times.
Well, the piano stopped, but now there's construction. They're hitting something with a hammer on top of my head.
I did know that Helsinki is the furthest north the Summer Olympics were held.
Let's keep this lightning round going.
Oh boy.
What is the first 3D Zelda game that does not feature any great fairies?
The first 3D?
Again, we are not considering like this a 3D Zelda game. It is a top-down game that just has.
There's great fairies anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying like as a general rule.
Yeah.
That does not feature great fairies. Why? Skyward Sword?
That's right. 20 seconds for EDL.
That's actually right. I was thinking Breath of the Wild, but I forgot about Skyward Sword.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild doesn't. But yeah, Breath of the Wild doesn't have them either, right?
No, Breath of the Wild is 4.
Oh no, it does. Yeah, no, it
does
totally
have great fairies.
Yeah, it does. Wait, yeah, like the moment
so
you said,
I'm
I was
just
like,
bottom text.
I just want to say, y'all are
literally
basically synced in
Great
game.
Fairy Fountain. It's written on the map when you open it.
Yes.
It says Great Fairy Fountain.
It sure does. I speedrun that game and walked past the Great Fairy Fountain.
There's also a main story quest to take a picture of with Great Fairy Fountain.
True.
if you're wondering, in Twilight Princess, they are within the Cave of Ordeals that spawn in the fountains that are every 10 floors. So that is why it is not Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought, but then I remembered, no, actually, there is one. There's one.
You all are very synced up right now.
Yo.
Yeah, that's normal.
Well, it's gonna come down to RNG.
Is there RNG in this?
Yeah,
There is.
In this fight?
Yeah,
Well, don't forget, you do also have the trivia.
The trivia bonus
advantage.
time.
So
True.
And speaking of the trivia bonus time, hold on. Stop. Hold on.
hang on.
What is the smallest
Trivia.
country in both population and area?
Vatican.
That's right.
That's right.
10 seconds for EDL.
Vatican.
It's tiny.
It's
very
extremely
small. I've
tiny.
been there.
That's all I got. It's really small. I think at its widest, it's like a kilometer wide or something.
It's not very big.
It's very tiny.
You'd easily accidentally take a stroll across it and not really notice.
True. You can only go so far in it, though. I think they kind of half of
Yeah.
it, the whole like 20 square feet of it is housing, and like 800 people live there or something. And yeah, and it is a country for some reason.
I've heard that it is a country. In fact,
It is for some reason a sovereign state. I don't really know why. It's also the only country where an official language is Latin.
I remember
Because,
hearing about the reason why and everything, but I forgot.
Probably something in the olden days with the church. I don't know.
I think Italy sieged it for a really long time, and the Pope was just like, nah. forever, and then it just gave up. They're like, okay, well, you just stay there, and then we're good.
That makes sense. Yeah, don't move, and you can have your little plot of land that's like the size of my apartment complex.
Let's get one last question in here during this fight. Boost, if you could.
What territory contains the world's largest national park?
Greenland.
It is Greenland.
That is right. 30 seconds for Glenn.
The northeast Greenland National Park, which is basically just the northeast corner of Greenland, is over 375,000 square miles, and it's larger than like all but 30 countries. Which
That's pretty big.
kind of big.
Was that time?
Yeah.
All right.
I got
Fine
one
for me.
blue ball.
I will say y'all were
No.
like 6
Is
seconds
the
apart
optimal
in game.
RNG.
Yeah. We'll have to wait
Glenn
for
was-
our...
That death that you had was probably more than the time I wasted with my nonsense with the banana.
It was pretty bad because I couldn't use arrows when I went back. I died to cue ball, and then I couldn't use arrows in the second fight at all.
We'll
Because
have
when
to
you
wait.
said I have bad boulder RNG, I was not even done knocking the pillars down in the 7th dungeon. Like I wasn't even. I had just finished getting a 9 key, I think.
Yeah, everyone was okay actually. I had still like 139 best possible time for a while.
I
like
don't have my
3d6.
split running.
And my splits up just so I could
I
keep track of
absolutely
kills.
expected to not be able to count my kills, and therefore
I
that
should
it would
have
not beat
expected
my
that.
time.
See, I should have expected that.
So with the trivia bonus time added in, that comes out to a 139.19 for Glenn and a 142.31 for EDL. So congrats on Glenn for being the trivia champ of Hyrule. Part
Yeah.
1.
Thank you.
One of them at least.
GG's.
One of them.
GG. Yeah, that was super fun, even if my
That
brain
was fun.
was half dying the whole time.
Definitely on the harder end of episodes we've had so far, but y'all did pretty well. So
Glitches has been such a really difficult run for me, because it's endurance a lot for me. It's the longest run I've ever done. And the mental math for counting the kills is the thing, and I knowing about that you were gonna interrupt us with trivia and talk to us the whole time, and
Just
my
being
experience
prepared.
at Flame Fatales where I couldn't do that, like I tried, but it didn't work because I was distracted by the talking. I was having such a good time. I knew it was not gonna happen, so I was like, yeah, let's just roll with it. We'll see. We'll just have fun. And I
Now-
had fun. It was fun.
Heck yeah, that's what we hope
Yeah.
for. And if you had fun at home, don't go anywhere. There is a follow-up race. We'll be right back after a quick break for A Link to the Past, a game maybe you've heard of. People
have.
speedrun it. I think it's pretty cool. So don't touch that dial. But before we go to break, we've got a couple announcements.
AGDQ 2023 online will be January 8th through the 15th. The second submission period for games released after September 1st is open until the end of today, so make sure you get those new game submissions in. If you want to follow what GDQ is up to, use exclamation point links in Twitch chat for all things GDQ.
And 2 more quick announcements from our runners. Where can people find you?
Find me on my Twitch channel. That's just EDL666 on Twitch.
Yeah.
You can't really miss me if you just put that in Twitch. Assuming you're already on Twitch right now.
I'm just twitch.tv/Glan. Got that 4-letter name and everything.
Yeah, that's rare.
We'll be right back with Link to the Past. Welcome back to Think Fast, the speedrunning game show of fast times and sharp minds. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Corva May. Our second phase for tonight is a Link to the Past showdown between Arier and Dante. And as a reminder, our theme for tonight is Link in Parks. Not about music, but in fact is Zelda and geography to celebrate Geography Awareness Week, which is not yet. It's coming soon, next week. In case you forgot how our game works or you're just tuning in, it's not enough to simply beat the game the fastest. Our runners are answering our trivia questions as they play, and the more questions they get right, the more seconds we take off their time. How are both of you feeling going into tonight's race?
Yeah,
Pretty nervous.
yeah, a little nervous, but we'll speed up, run our way through this.
Oh yeah, it'll be a good time.
Y'all are free to start whenever. Pick your favorite file of T, Hink, and Fast, please.
Yeah, we're gonna use the one that uses the least time, so we're gonna go for the T.
We'll go with the T. Yeah.
Who wants to count us down then?
3, 2, 1, go. I have a thing that I normally say to count down, and I just forgot it, and by then I was too late.
It's time to think fast. And
Thank
for those
you.
wondering, I was muted during my intro, so I'm SWC19. So hello. Again.
Hello.
Hello again. Welcome back.
All right. So for those who don't know this hidden gem of an indie game,
Wait, is this new? Did this come out? It's got this a retro throwback vibes. I really like that.
yeah, this is A Link to the Past 2019.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
It does.
I mean, it's been re-released so many times that I feel like it easily could be.
Probably.
It
What
is
this
was the most
remake,
right?
recent?
Yeah,
What was the
this
most
is-
recent re-release of this game?
Probably the GBA one.
Do you count?
Yeah.
Do you count Link Between Worlds?
Oh gosh.
That's a sequel,
No.
though.
Okay.
They are different games.
Are they? Whoa.
But then I would just say the one on the Switch, right? The virtual
Yeah.
console one.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably. By re-release, I mean that that virtual consoles on a lot of different systems. That's really
Yeah.
what I meant there.
Yeah.
Now, if y'all haven't seen this game before, it's pretty good. I recommend it. Some might say
Yeah.
it's the best Zelda. Some might say it's at least in the top 3. I would be one of those people to say it's a top 3 Zelda.
The hotly
Hot take, I
contested-
know.
Hotly contested. It's tied up there
What
in the top
is-
3.
What is A Link to the Past referred to? Wrong answers only.
Every single reset in this game.
I was gonna say my NMG time, but I'm not sure.
Fair. Somebody in chat said that this is a chainmail making simulator, hence Link, and I like that.
Ah.
That's pretty good.
That is very good.
It's a historical reenactment. Like a
Of?
medieval historical reenactment. It's past
okay.
Link.
Self
Going on the
versus
chainmail
self.
thing again.
Past self, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of the there's man versus man versus nature,
Right.
Link versus Link's
Link
parentheses
versus
Dark
another
World.
Link.
Yeah. I always found it interesting though, since it's not really obvious or clear that it's actually the past and the future. It's just two different worlds. I thought it would be more appropriate for Ocarina of Time to be like Link to the Past.
That's true.
Or Link to the
True.
Future, rather.
Yeah, but
In a way,
I think
this is less-
They had already used the names. They couldn't reuse it.
What?
A Link to the Past 2.
Oh,
by the time
oh,
Ocarina of
I
Time
s-
came out. Yeah.
I flipped that in my head. In a way, this is less a Link to the Past and more a Link Between Worlds. That'd be a cool name
Yeah.
for a game. They should make
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually really
Crazy.
unique. Yeah.
It's like they
Yeah,
got
I
it
would-
wrong from the start.
Yeah.
Something
they
Zelda
retconned.
and design choices.
And while we're on the subject, A Link to the Past has a different name in Japan. What does that translate to in English?
Triforce of the Gods.
That is right.
That's
Oh.
correct. That is.
We're on the
That was
board.
quick.
20 seconds for error.
You were just on that. That's 20 seconds for Ryan. That was quick. I was like not ready. Because you never know when we have people on the show. We never know. Like we just make a lot of questions about the series, and people tend to either know everything about the series lore or nothing.
Right.
I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah, I would
That one-
say I'm
All right. Well,
Okay, that's good. That's
it's
good
like
at least.
that one tweet where it's like, nice dichotomy, idiot. What lies between it? I've instantly been disproven.
Sometimes you know things, and then sometimes you don't know things.
Whoa.
That's
Yeah, that was pretty deep, I know.
yeah.
It's very insightful.
I don't think we're going to top
It's 50-50.
Yeah, you either know the answer or you don't know the answer.
That really
So-
says a lot.
And it's always a
About-
50-50. Either it is or it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like it's
like getting a
60-40
drop.
for me.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know,
It's like getting a drop in an MMO.
I'm
you
going
either
to have
get
a
it or
hard
you
time
don't.
here.
Every run has a 50-50 shot of being a PB. Either you get the PB or you don't get a PB.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
If any of those like tools that tell you, like you're like trying to like figure out your statistics and stuff, tell you otherwise, they're lying to you.
yeah. PB chance is always 50%.
Exactly.
It's so glass half full. I love it.
Someday we'll have our theme will be statistics related, and we'll have
Oh,
to
no.
like resist the urge to just have every answer be 50%.
What are the odds of this happening? 50%. It either happens or it
50%.
doesn't. You've been doing this joke for 3 hours. Okay.
Welcome to the only trivia show where you exit with a net loss of knowledge.
Or a different outlook on life. Who can tell?
That's true. That's true. It's a trivia show about self-care.
You know what knowledge you might not know?
Good
This
segue.
question.
Uh-oh.
What country is the most densely populated?
India?
Vatican City.
It's not India. It's not Vatican.
But for this, you gotta consider.
It's not the Netherlands. It's up there, but it's not the Netherlands.
That is.
Yeah, you gotta consider
Right, it's not Netherlands.
small countries for this.
Oh,
So
that's
Vatican City was a
true.
good idea.
Is it
but
Monaco?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that is
I was
30
gonna say
seconds for Orion.
Rhode Island, but that's wrong.
Somehow I don't know if Rhode Island is a country. It's also not the most densely populated U.S. state. I don't think.
Wrong on
I think
both
that's New
accounts.
Jersey. Yeah, that's New Jersey. That is not a question, but it could have been.
Makes sense.
But yeah, Monaco contains over 19,000 people per square kilometer. But luckily, there's only 39,000 people living in the country, so it's not that bad.
A lot of square kilometers.
No,
It's tiny. It's basically
It's
just
very
like
small.
one long road with a lot of casinos on it. That's my understanding of the country.
you're thinking of Las Vegas, actually.
Oh,
Which
Or
is
that-
also
Las
not a
Vegas is-
country.
but
Yeah,
it's
or
probably
that,
larger than Monaco.
Or that project that they're trying to build in Saudi
no.
Arabia of the line.
Yeah,
You all heard
it's
of
just
that?
a line.
Very similar.
Yeah.
It's the line.
Yeah.
It's like
I love the
National Mall.
line because it's like not how cities work.
No, I don't.
They're
really
usually
think it is.
rather round because the idea is that you can get, you want to get from any one point to the other. Not
Yeah, no.
via
Basically,
line.
what you do is you make like a neighborhood and then you just tile it. So you're only so far from the edge of your given area, and it's just tiled
Yeah.
for a billion miles or whatever.
It's like when you play Factorio, you make a blueprint, you just copy paste it a bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how cities work.
So people talking about Monaco, yes, its main feature is that it's a racetrack, and it's also a very rich nation. I think it has like the highest average wealth of people live there. Like everyone lives there's a millionaire because they go to retire or something there.
Everyone.
Probably. It's
Dang.
small enough.
Does that mean if you move to Monaco, do they just give you $1 million?
No, but I think you need $1 million to move there in the first place.
See,
Property's
that makes-
expensive.
that makes more sense.
I
I hate
was
cause and effect.
I was looking at property in Monaco just as a jest, and like a studio apartment's like $600,000 to purchase for like a little tiny thing. So
That seems
kind
good.
of expensive. Yeah,
Sounds like New York.
it's probably about as bad as New York. Densely populated areas.
Speaking of densely populated, not our trivia this time. We've been getting off track a lot.
But that's
Saint
okay.
Martin, a small island in the Caribbean, is split in half between which two countries? Thank you to Casanova for submitting this question.
Is it Haiti and the Dominican Republic?
Specifically, it's saying like it is a territory of which two countries?
Oh.
Yeah, so there is the island, but this is not that island.
Yes.
Okay.
Right,
But
run that by me.
good thought. So Saint Martin, a small island in the Caribbean, is split in half between which two countries?
Oh, jeez.
Oh. I am drawing an absolute blank.
Which, well, one of them might be a little bit easier. Just think of countries that have a lot of territory in the Caribbean.
Oh, the Netherlands?
That is one of them.
Oh.
That's 10 seconds for Orion.
Then
Is it the U.S.? I mean, I feel like
This
we
is
own
not the
everything half the
US.
time.
all my arrows. I mean, the other one would, like, the obvious answer would be France, I guess.
That is right.
That is right.
10 more seconds for Orion.
It is, yeah, it's pretty much just split. And I think if you're like an EU citizen, you can kind of just go between the two sides of the island, but don't quote me on that.
That makes sense.
It logistically would, right? But I don't know.
I would think so. But I'm not an expert on geopolitics. 'Cause we
Not
haven't
yet.
done that episode. We haven't done that episode yet, even though this is kind of 50% that. So when we do that, I'll know a lot more.
This is Hyrule geopolitics.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. I'm sure there's plenty
Which
of trivia
country?
for that as well.
Which country owns Link's house?
Ooh,
His uncle.
is
Are there more
Hyrule a
than-
nation?
I don't know.
Or is
I
it
feel
just a
Hyrule is-
kingdom?
It's a kingdom, which would be a nation, but I don't think there's other nations, right? Are there?
There's
Well, no, because
Lorule.
there's like
Yeah, low rule.
Yeah.
But that's a different world. Is that like
Yeah.
on the same plane of existence? Like,
Well, if
Where do
you
you
look at
draw
the
the
Hyrule
line?
map in this game, there's just clouds everywhere, so I think they live all by themselves.
the fog
There's
of war
this-
makes them the only thing around.
And
there's Zora's domain, but is Zora's domain like a separate kingdom?
Is it like a state?
Yeah, or is it like a duchy of?
We need to know these things.
When are we getting Hyrule Crusader Kings?
Yeah, if you are familiar with the geopolitics of The Legend of Zelda, please write in.
Right in. So submit some questions for us.
in Majora's Mask, there's Tamina as well, so does that count?
Maybe.
It's all fun and games
It's true.
until Hyrule elections get messed up by Gerudo Mandarin.
How long were you sitting on that one?
Not that long.
That's pretty good.
That was good.
Okay, let's move on
All
after
right.
that one. Please give us a question.
What is the name of the fan? This should be an easy, not medium. What is the name of the fan who's
Whatever.
featured in A Secret Room in A Link to the Past?
Houlihan, Chris Houlihan.
Oh,
That is correct. Why?
You wanna make it?
Why is?
what?
Oh yeah, that should be an easy. That should be
All right,
10 seconds.
10 seconds for
Okay.
Ryer.
Why is there the Houlihan Room?
the competition from Nintendo Power, supposedly?
That's correct. I will give you an extra 5 seconds for that to Dante. Yes, Houlihan won a Nintendo Power contest and got a room in a game.
Wasn't the contest just to be in a game too? And it wasn't like specifically, A Link to the Past?
I don't remember exactly. Maybe I will find out. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, please wait as our expert trivia experts.
I think it is specific to Link to the Past. It says, or wikibooks.org says, before the game's release, Nintendo Power ran a competition with the grand prize winner having their name in a secret room in the game. A room so secret that few would find it.
Oh.
And basically you need to glitch into it, but...
Yeah, we use it in... I'm not sure we still use it. We used it in a couple of categories.
It's just full of money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely use it in the randomizer as well. Because money is useful now.
Makes sense. Did they remove his name from the GBA remake? I don't know. You all might know this. Chat's wondering if they removed his name in the GBA remake.
Good question. I never played the GBA remake, to be honest.
That's actually that's the one I played.
I missed a lot of Link shouting.
Hiya.
So it says the telepathy tile mentioning Chris Houlihan was removed in A Link to the Past and Four Swords on GBA.
Wow,
that's
boo.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's lame.
His legacy.
I guess they said you'd be in one game, not two, so...
Okay, so it was actually... The contest was for a future Nintendo game.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
So the contest read directly, have you ever imagined yourself in a NES game? Well, this is your chance. If you meet Warmech, snap a photo of him and send it to the address below by October 15th, 1990. One winner will be randomly selected, and his or her name will be programmed into a future Nintendo game.
That's cool.
Yeah. So going back on those remakes, I'm one of the people who, like, I know a couple people, myself included, who didn't know that this was an SNES game for a long time, because I played the GBA remake of this and Super Mario World, because I didn't have an SNES. And so I was like, oh yeah, I love Link to the Past. It's like, that's one of my favorite games. It's a great Game Boy game. And then somebody was like, this is a joke, right? You're joking?
You do know what this game is, right?
You do know, yeah.
The lamp is more powerful in the Game Boy version, so that's the only thing it really has going for it.
That's why it's so memorable, because of the lamp.
Yes.
I believe fellow Hotfix show host Frozen Flygon also believed that Super Mario World was a Game Boy game at first, because that remake as well.
Yeah.
A re-release.
You survived.
Listen, I had a Game Boy Color and I had a PlayStation 1. I had a computer.
You had a computer, and you could have looked it up on the internet.
Okay.
The newfangled internet.
We're moving on. For Link's birthday, Zelda is making the famous Noble Pursuit cocktail. The recipe calls for a pint of palm fruit juice, but she only has a gill-sized measuring cup. How many gills are needed to mix Link's pink drink?
5.
Incorrect.
Could you repeat the question?
Please.
For Link's birthday, Zelda is making the famous Noble Pursuit cocktail. The recipe calls for a pint of palm fruit juice, but she only has a gill-sized measuring cup. How many gills are needed to mix Link's pink drink?
I'm so confused.
62.
How many gills are in a pint?
I don't know.
Yeah, how many gills are in a pint? That's why we're asking you.
What's a gill?
I don't
A gill
know.
is an imperial unit of measurement that is niche and obscure, and even people in countries that use imperial measurements are like, what?
It's also known as a teacup.
Wait, really?
Apparently.
They're the same thing?
Apparently.
Is it 8?
It is not 8.
4.
It is 4.
4 is right.
Amazing.
I missed you. Got it. I think it was Araya, right?
Yeah, I guess.
That is
Easy.
I stumbled
20 more
upon the correct
seconds.
answer.
Yeah. Who uses the gill? Nobody.
I mean, if it's just a teacup, that makes sense. That in retrospect, that does make sense. I just didn't put those together. I pretty much wrote that question because I wanted to do a word avalanche at the end. But then I ran out of words that rhyme with link that worked for the question.
In Scotland, there are additional sizes. There is a big gill, which is 1.5 gills, a wee gill, which is 3/4 of a gill, a wee half gill, which is 3/8 of a gill, and a nip, which is 1/4 gill. For those wondering.
The only gill I know is like the currency in Final Fantasy.
How about fish?
I was thinking fish parts the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I was so lost.
How many fish fit in a pint? Hang on.
How many fish in a pint of fish?
Oh, that was
A pint of them?
Okay, but is it an American or is it like a British pint?
Moving on.
Also, I guess I never also specified that too. So I guess it could be 5 if it's a
Moving
20-ounce
on.
pint. So that original answer of 5 is also valid. We're moving on.
Oh, do I get double the points now?
No, because you got it right and then you got it extra right. So if you're going to move on, you have to read a question. That's how it works.
Moving on.
Okay.
Name the 3 countries that make up the island of Great Britain.
The island of Great
man.
Britain, Scotland, Wales, and England.
That's right.
Yep.
15 more seconds for the rider.
I guess that's kind of unfair. I'm sorry, Dante.
Hey. It's okay. We'll throw some U.S.-centric questions out there.
Yeah, we'll balance it up. We saved
It'll
all the
be
U.S.
fine.
We'll make it unfair for you.
Yeah, we saved
It'll
all
be
the U.S.
fine.
questions for this part because both of our runners in the first part were Canadian. But usually we try to not do U.S. questions if both the runners aren't U.S. But in this case, you're off
have
to
a
a
nice split of
pretty
both.
you're off to a pretty sizable question lead. So we got to balance it up a little bit.
Seems questionable.
It's the rubber banding mechanism that is built into Think Fast.
Zelda cards?
Oh, baby.
Ooh.
Is it
And
Mario
yes.
Kart 8 just Zelda card if you want it to be?
Yeah, I guess.
Kind of. And yes, Northern Ireland does not count because Northern Ireland is not part of the island of Great Britain.
Yeah.
It is part of the
Correct.
island. The
It is, in
island of
fact.
Ireland.
The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland,
Yes, that is
which was
why-
changed to in 1927. Watch the Kingdom Hearts episode.
Ooh.
So yeah, let's throw this nice easy U.S. Question.
Oh,
I think
very easy.
All
This
right,
nice-
I'm ready.
Everyone
All
knows
right.
this one.
What is the newest U.S. national park established in 2020?
Oh my gosh.
Easy. Very simple.
Is this
I have
obscure?
been here.
Is it this obscure one called Yellowstone?
I don't know if that was only established in 2020.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
maybe.
Dang.
2020? We're still making parks in 2020?
I hope so.
I mean, all right. This location has been a thing, but it was only established as a national park in like December 2020 or something. I'll give you a hint if it helps at all. It's in West Virginia.
We were so close.
West Virginia.
The answer is not Fallout 76.
Country roads, DMCA.
Why are you in my
This
head?
video today.
There's a story.
The answer. I don't expect anyone to get this. The answer
I'm
is
not gonna
New
get it.
River Gorge National Park. It's basically
New
a big
River
bridge.
Gorge, West
it-
Virginia.
It's
Easy
a big
question.
bridge, and it's kind of cool. I've been.
All right, well,
that was a very easy question.
yeah,
Everyone
we'll,
knows that.
we'll give you an actual easier U.S.-centric question.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Does it have to
This
do
one
with
is this
is-
one is easier.
Okay.
What is the least populated U.S. state?
Oh, wow. I said Rhode Island earlier. That's probably not the case. It's probably Montana.
It is
It's
not Montana.
Oh, great.
So I think you have the right line of thinking.
Is it Idaho?
It is not Idaho.
Ohio?
No.
It is not Ohio. Ohio's pretty populated.
Unfortunately.
I don't know.
Idaho, parentheses, but right this time.
Wyoming.
That's
It
right.
is Wyoming.
All right, third try's the charm.
I would have gone for Alaska next, but
Alaska's like the second least populated state or something.
20 seconds for Dante.
Despite being the 9th largest state, it only has 578,000 people. Rhode Island has just over 1 million.
oh geez.
Yeah, Wyoming is very, very undense. It's kind. You might call it
Undense.
the opposite of Morocco, which would
Why
be
would I call it the opposite of Morocco?
because Morocco's super dense.
Is it?
Is it?
Monaco. Not
Wait,
Morocco.
yeah, sorry.
I was about to say, hang on. Morocco's like half desert.
Look, I'm
It's
not
an
operating a
M-word.
lot of sleep tonight. okay?
Anyways.
Do we have any questions
Anyways?
regarding pulling money from trees? Because that's what we just did.
No, but I give you a question about this indie game called A Link to the Past.
Okay, that works.
You want that? Kind of close.
Sure.
What does the manual for the Game Boy Advance version of A Link to the Past erroneously call the Magic Cape?
The magic
Linked
thing.
cloth?
That is incorrect.
Cape of invisibility.
That is incorrect.
I was trying to think of a magician's name that does disappearing acts.
The Cape of Burna.
That is incorrect.
Dang.
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
It is not Cape Cod. It's not Cape Cod. That was a joke. Sorry.
God.
Imagine.
I was like, did I write this instruction manual?
The Cod Cape.
Here's a hint. It is a different Zelda item.
The Rockscape.
That is right.
Oh,
That'll be 10 seconds for Ryer because I gave you a pretty good hit there.
Yeah.
They don't do the same thing, so they goofed
that was a
one
good
up.
hint.
Yeah.
That was a good hint.
Good hint. We are great at giving good hits,
Sometimes.
such as, I've been here. Good luck.
Okay, there was that one time where we said it's a country that no longer exists, and our runner immediately said Lithuania. So sometimes you get good hints that just don't matter. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry for those from Lithuania.
yeah, we think you exist, even if
I know you exist.
we know you exist. In fact, we'll be a step more definitive.
All right, you want the easiest question you could ever have?
I'm scared for that because
yeah,
if I get it wrong, I'm
Don't
gonna
worry,
be
don't
so
worry.
off the rails.
I think if you get this wrong, you'll be sad. What failed
That-
game console gave us gems such as Hotel Mario and Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon?
CDI.
That is right.
Correct.
Okay.
That's like a very
Yeah, 10
easy.
more seconds for Ryer. Look, they're not all hard. Sometimes you put an easy question in there.
Yeah.
At this rate, I'm going to get world record on this.
Our time saves are not legally binding, but if the moderators say they are, then there you go.
Sign our change.org petition to get think fast times allowed.
That was really close to gold. Nice.
All right, name every CDI game.
Name every game.
Name every game on Steam.
Basis of Gamma.
Except
The Zelda
ones you
ones
can't
are
say.
bad.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of CDI games that existed for some reason, such as Connect 4,
What, me?
like the board game Connect 4.
Okay, I mean, sure. My favorite thing about that is that the CDI is extremely expensive, and so the idea of buying a CDI to play at Connect 4, a game that is like $15, is a choice.
I mean, you gotta have an intro for some people, I guess.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I
the
suppose.
CDI. Let's play Connect 4.
Connect 4, yeah.
That's how you get people into video games.
Yeah, we really should have given the CDI question for our last set of runners, given how much Glenn wanted to talk about CDI.
Thanks.
All right.
It would have just
There
been
is
like an
also
instant giveaway, though. And Glenn didn't
There's
need any help
also-
on time.
a game called Domino, which I think is just dominoes on the CDI.
I mean, I guess I can't really, judge, because I've played a lot of Mahjong on the Switch, which is also just a
Yeah.
board game. But Mahjong's also a pain to set up, so...
It really is.
Yeah. Also, it
Yeah.
seems a bit more popular than Domino's, to be fair. I think as a
Domino's
kid,
is really popular, to be fair.
I haven't seen
in-
anyone
yeah.
talk about or play Domino's in the last.
I guess
20
in the
years.
right spaces.
Yeah. There are definitely
Hey,
certain communities
you
that
wanna
are
play some
really, I
dominoes?
believe there's certain cultures that I believe are really into dominoes in the same way
Mm-hmm.
that everyone in the or most people from the Midwest know how to play euchre and nobody else does.
What?
True.
Euchre's a card game that I don't have time to explain.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a card game that is complicated.
Isn't that most card games?
I don't think Go Fish is that complicated.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair.
There are a lot of relatively complicated ones, but there's only
Yeah.
so much you could do with 52 cards.
There's so many
TM.
different card games. Then.
True.
Yeah, euchre's great because it's a game where in certain contexts the highest rated card is the jack, but not always, and that is really hard to explain to people.
Oh, yes.
So-
That reminds me
this
of
is
something we
sometimes
play in the
good, but not
Netherlands as
always.
well.
So now I want to know where the king, queen, and ace go.
All right, so whatever.
no.
Okay, I guess I'm explaining euchre now. I said I wasn't going
Briefly.
to. So
Briefly.
in euchre, whatever suit is trump, which is a mechanic for determining which it is. The jack of that suit is the highest rated card, and the jack of the other color of that suit is the second highest card of trump, and then everything else is just normal going down.
Okay.
So if spades is called as trump, then hearts is still the highest, or the ace of hearts is still the highest for hearts, but the jack of spades is the highest for spades, followed by the jack of clubs, followed by the ace of spades.
Sure.
I followed that 100%, I promise.
Euchre's really good. I really like euchre. It's my
Sounds-
favorite trick-taking card game because
Sounds-
I am a product of my environment.
What percent of the human population lives in the northern hemisphere?
62.
That is not
Incorrect.
correct.
We'll give you a little bit of margin error on this one. I haven't decided what it is yet.
Some
43.
Incorrect.
is not.
A little bit of a hint.
77.
Incorrect. A little bit of a hint. More of Earth is northern than you think it is.
Yeah, but there's also a lot more people.
Okay. I misphrased that. More of land is northern than you think it is. Half of Earth is northern.
We learned about this in the last race. There are 4 hemispheres.
How do hemispheres work?
73.
I'm not going into this again. It is not
73 is
73.
incorrect. Wasn't 74
reference,
Jeff's guess? I would have given that in the margin of error for what it's worth.
For reference, the northern hemisphere contains 67% of Earth's land. And I guess when you think of major population centers, which hemisphere are they in?
Yeah, my wife's going to be very disappointed in me.
Is it 87?
I'll give you it. It's
Yes,
90.
it is.
Oh,
90.
heck yeah.
Okay.
20 seconds for Dante.
That's,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean-
a lot. In general, land is more north than you think it is, it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, the major population centers being like all of China, all of India.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Then you got like Nigeria, the U.S., Yeah, I think like the major population in the southern hemisphere is going to be like Brazil.
Yeah.
And that's about
Argentina.
it.
Antarctica.
Antarctica. They have a pretty big population of like 200.
Australia.
So like
I
Australia,
just-
Australia has population, but like not as much. Like
Sure.
California has more people than Australia.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think I just
But still-
assumed stuff like India to be lower than it actually was.
Yeah,
Would you
right,
say that
right.
it is not Monaco-esque, Australia?
Crazy.
That is true. It is pretty not dense, undense as you might call it.
Vincent.
Densent.
Absent.
I don't
Wait.
have this as a question, but do either of you know the least densely populated country?
Antarctica.
Yeah,
That
Antarctica.
is not a country.
Not a country.
Oh.
I'm gonna guess
The
Iceland.
country inside of
It is.
Antarctica.
Wait. Something that I don't know about. It also begins with an M.
And
Oh, is this Morocco because we said that wrong earlier?
Mongolia.
That would be funny, but no, it is Mongolia. 10 seconds for
Okay.
May.
Yay!
on the board.
Yes, that was an open question for everybody.
That's a step up for me.
Congratulations.
Aha! This is fun. I want to be on my show.
I know, it's a fun show. I'm not biased whatsoever.
Yeah. We'll have to do one where like we race a game that we both play and somebody else gets
Yeah,
host.
because we both play
Oh.
a game.
A big plus.
A hat and I'll get crushed.
We'll do that eventually, yeah. Yeah, I mean, just let me give random geography questions for 3 hours and that'll be good. That's not what this is about. That's like half of what this is about.
What's the other half?
Because
Link. And then the last half is in.
link in.
It was
Wait,
supposed to be a segue to the next question. I guess.
Yeah, this
I guess- Yeah.
How many times larger is Breath of the Wild's world than that of Twilight Princess?
Oh, I remember reading about that. It's like 32 times or something.
That
It's
is
not
incorrect.
32.
Is it 47?
Oh,
It is not.
that's real close apparently.
Oh.
52?
It is not. You'll say you're a bit too high.
But wait, was 37 said?
Even if it was, it is still wrong.
Oh well, I tried.
25.
It's not 25. I'll give you each 2 more guesses.
23.
It is not.
Is not.
17.
It is not 17. If you're within 2, we'll give it.
I'll say 1%. Let's go.
It is not 1.01 times larger. Though that would be funny.
30.
It is not 30. It is 12.
Only
Or
12?
7.22 Skyrims.
Ah,
7.22. Okay.
that is very
I
specific.
just calculated that one on the fly for y'all. Not in my head. The development team for Twilight Princess actually said that one of the things they really regret about that game is that they wish the world was much larger.
And so they did it.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twilight Princess had a really good world.
Chat, quick update. Once again, my cat wants to eat my microphone.
That's a very important update.
In case you were following along earlier for the cat updates. Why you're all here, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's good
All
content.
right. Zelda or country question?
Zelda.
All right.
All right, let's do this one. I like this one.
Yep. Go for it.
The back of Twilight Princess's box features a UI element that was not present in the final game. What is it?
Was it something? No, that's not right. This is not Nintendogs. I was like, could they transfer horses? But that's not right.
The happiness meter of your horse.
Well, if your horse has good IVs, you want to carry that with you to all the different generations of Zelda. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Was it stamina?
It was not stamina.
It is not stamina.
What's not?
UI element.
That's not in the final game. I guess.
Does
think
it
of things
vary
that aren't.
between the GameCube and the Wii version of the box art?
I don't know. I think they have the same box, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I couldn't tell you. So I apologize if I didn't do that much research. My bad. Get off my desk.
Huh. Is
I will
it
say
just that
it
it's
is-
different, or is it just gone in the actual game?
It is not in the game.
It's not.
It's an UI. So like the one of the screenshots on the back of the box has features a like UI element for a feature that is not in the final game.
Is it like a magic meter? I forget if that game actually
That is
has
right.
a magic. Oh yes, let's go.
What?
It is a
30
magic
seconds for
meter.
Dante.
I need to play that game again.
The game originally used the magic meter, but the feature was scrapped, and there's unused Midna dialogue that suggests that magic would be required to transfer into Wolf Link and back. And if two of the what are they? The chews? What are they called?
Oh, those bird things.
The blob guys.
Oh, the
I'm so
blob.
bad at Zelda
The
enemy
chews.
The
names.
choo-choos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are just chews. Okay. If they combine to the one that heals mana, then that juice will heal mana, but because there's no mana that you could see, it effectively does nothing, and the remake has a joke to it.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
I was today years old when I learned that.
There you go.
That's
Happy
what
I
we're
was
here for.
I was 4 days younger when I learned that, so. Y'all want a Zelda? Or do y'all want a
Not Zelda.
geography?
Let's go geography. I'm ready
I don't
to
know.
look
Yeah,
back.
I don't think we
again.
have that many more Zeldas, so.
Yeah, we are running pretty low on Zelda, so we got a couple still.
All right.
Only
This one
halfway
has
through
3
runs,
answers.
Oh,
What countries are surrounded completely by exactly one other country?
Vatican City.
That is one.
That's one.
What?
5 seconds for Ari.
There are 2 more.
Is it Canada?
It's not Canada.
So by surrounded entirely by one other country, we mean that like it is like a lake of country inside a country.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, so it outside of the borders is a completely different country. Chat's getting it.
That's got it.
They're doing good.
That's great.
Good job,
I ran
Chad.
out. I ran
Proud
out.
of you.
I got my one.
Landlocked by another country is a good example. All right, I will say one of them is also in Italy.
Oh no, I don't know European geography.
And the other one is not in Europe.
I'm trying to think in the Middle East if that's a thing, but I also don't know
Middle
that
East is a
geography.
thing.
We gotta start doing if chat gets the answer right, then we tally up their time, and then we'll just ask the runners for their like average from live split, and then average them together and see who wins. Chat gets an average run, but they get every question.
All right, any other guesses? These are definitely lesser known countries,
They're more obscure.
but they're there.
Baghdad. Wait, that's probably a city.
Not a country.
That is, yeah.
I mean, it is. Most capitals are in fact surrounded by their country, but
that is true.
There was an
Monaco.
attempt.
It's not Monaco,
Sorry.
right?
It is not Monaco because
San Marino?
San Marino is one of them. Yes,
Oh wow.
that's another
That
5
is-
fairy.
No, that's 10, right?
10
for each
total.
one?
Yeah, no, an additional 5. Yeah.
Last one.
All right,
Yeah.
the last one. I'll give a bigger hint. It is the country that surrounds it is South Africa.
Tree that
be
surrounds
honest.
it is South Africa.
I didn't know this was a country, but I also
I
got
know.
an American public school education, so
I've played too much GeoGuessr.
fair.
I
this
legit
is
just
why I
thought
know all
South
this.
Africa was the very south of Africa.
Yeah, it mostly is.
Can I dial a friend?
You can feed off of each other. All right, the answer is Lesotho.
No,
Which is,
I actually did. Not
I've
know
never heard of
existed.
that.
Exactly. For those that are saying Eswatini, it is almost, but it does also border Mozambique. Like a little bit of it. So
Doesn't matter. I got fence dash. I'm happy.
you did get 2 of them. You got both of the Italian ones.
Heck yeah.
For some
That's
reason,
pretty good.
Italy likes having sub-countries in it, I guess.
Yeah, and Italy has had its fair share of issues in the past.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Just a little bit.
And, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
Though neither island is actually French, what 2 islands was Napoleon exiled to after his defeats in battle?
Oh,
This
no!
question was sent in by Casanova. Thanks a bunch.
I should have paid attention in history class.
I would have never known this.
I know
so.
this.
I do one of them off the top of my head, and the other one I probably would have forgotten.
I'm like seeing the island. At least I think I am, like on a map, but there is no text to tell me what it is when I see it.
One of them's a really common crossword answer, so that's why I know it.
That doesn't help me at all. That just makes me more confused. All right, let's go through islands.
They are
there's-
Mediterranean islands.
Mediterranean.
There's the one beside the Italian shoe.
Alright.
That is
That is
Sicily and my
Yeah.
answer. But
Alright,
that is an
crossed it
island.
off.
You are not
Alright.
not wrong by saying that's an island. However,
All right, well,
All right.
that's the one that I was wrong about saying I saw. So
the one island.
All right. Big islands are.
all right.
It's the big island or a small island. I guess it's not going to be Ireland because that's. It's maybe a bit big for.
Here's a hint. One of them played Knuckles.
Elba?
That's right.
Emerald Isle. Oh,
5
Alba
seconds
is
for
one of
Harry.
them. I like that. That's a really good hint.
The other one a name as well, or
Yes.
yeah?
But it's not Idris.
But it's not Knuckles.
It's not Sonic related, so don't go down that rabbit hole.
oh, now I get what you meant by played. Ha. Okay.
oh no, it's going off the rails. Okay. Okay. Islands. Cyprus?
Nope.
All right, I'm gonna call it. The other one. Saint Helena. Saint Helena?
Oh.
I think Helena's right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
It is a name. Yeah.
As a reminder, if you're watching along in chat and you have your own questions, you could submit them using our form, and we might read them in chat. One piece of advice that I would get is that if you submit questions for the show, for the game we currently have on, it'll probably be a while before we read them. But we actually sourced a lot of questions for this episode from everybody in chat, and we appreciate it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Have an exclamation point, think fast. Get access to that forum.
And if you don't submit, then we just need to use the internet more, which is not a bad thing. But
I already use the internet a lot, okay?
exactly.
Once or twice.
Occasionally. I am known to be an internet user. For better or worse.
Imagine being able to use the internet for these questions.
Well, I mean, we do it before the show and during, but
Let's do another geography one here. Let's do the best one that I think you wrote here. Where is it?
oh yeah, this one. I like this one.
Wait, I clicked off it. Hold on. There we go. Do it.
What country does France share its longest land border with?
Is it Germany?
It's
not Germany.
This is going to be a trick question.
I was, yeah.
We would
thinking
never.
the same.
I would never.
This one is listed
do a
as very
trick
hard,
question.
which is why we would never do that.
France only borders so many countries. I mean,
Yeah.
Exactly.
you can
This
get
is
it pretty
true.
easily, I think. I mean, just look at a map, right?
Yeah.
Let me find one of those really quick here.
All right.
Yeah, just
Spain.
look behind you and then
It's-
find a map.
Let's just say
It's
Spain,
not Spain.
just to keep it
It's not
rolling.
Spain. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, that's the naive answer.
Yeah, exactly.
If this was QI, you would lose points.
Oh, I thought it would
My
be
Europe-
pointless at this point, so.
Spain is the second longest land border to France, though.
Cool.
So close, but
Here's a hint. Think of countries that have a lot of border.
think of countries.
Russia.
Think of countries.
It is not Russia,
It is
though I
not
do like
Russia.
your line of thinking.
Argentina.
That is
It's not
incorrect.
Argentina.
What is my geography is just so bad.
That's why we're here today.
Is it Italy? Like, is that even possible on a map?
It is not Italy.
I don't know where they're going with this either, Dancy. I'm just listing all names here.
We
Yeah,
are
got
we're
it.
devious. You're devious here.
It's not gonna be Belgium,
Give you each
because
2
that's the
more
other
guesses.
naive answer. Greenland?
It's not Greenland.
Isn't
That
that
would
by
be interesting.
itself?
Though. It
Yeah.
is.
I mean, I guess.
Greenland is an
but-
island.
I keep wanting to say England, but that is not really a thing, I don't think.
No.
Canada.
One of you was close with an answer. It is not Canada. All right.
Do you like Chat's suggestion of just singing the Animaniacs, Countries of the World? Eventually you'll get it.
You'll get it eventually.
Is
If
this,
you could sing the entire Countries of the World, I will give you time for that.
oh boy.
does this include the the territory from France in the Caribbean that you just mentioned earlier?
Well,
Yes, but it's not that.
but it's not
No.
that one because I mean it could technically be that one.
It would.
In which case the answer would be the Netherlands. But that is not right.
The answer is Brazil.
What?
What? How?
French Guiana is not a country. It is just a territory of France, and it has a 730-kilometer border with Brazil. The
What?
French mainland has a 623-kilometer border with Spain. Therefore,
Okay.
France's longest land border is with Brazil.
I resent this.
That makes sense, and that's why it's a devious question.
I was on the right line of thinking, I just didn't know.
Yeah. It was one of France's territories, just not that one. But I think that's our last trick question. So
I'm not going to say that definitively.
I'm
but-
not confident, but I think for the most part,
Cool.
because we had the Penguins one earlier, and then this one.
Penguin.
Penguin. What's
Speaking
your
of
favorite
penguins.
penguin?
Oh, I want to answer this first.
All right, fine. Do this one, then we'll talk about penguins.
No. We're talking about penguins
All right.
now.
All right. What's your favorite penguin?
I
The
like
Emperor.
the Emperor is like the
penguins are very
classic.
good. Yeah,
The Emperor is the
Napoleon.
classic.
Napoleon is good. I do like King DDD.
Yeah, King DDD's
Yeah.
King DDD's good.
The one
I
from
like-
Happy Feet.
I like Piplup.
Yeah, Piplup's a
Okay.
top tier one.
Yeah.
There's a species of penguin just called the little penguin, which is fun because it
That's
sounds
adorable.
like, yeah, it sounds like that's probably like a kid's book, and it's probably really cute.
Catch me Googling penguin types. There's the macaroni penguin.
Oh, I heard about that one. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
macaroni penguins are very goofy.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot
Alright.
of like.
I like the
ancient
Pengators
penguins.
as well in Ice Palace that we just saw right here.
Ooh, topical. All right, actual question time.
All right.
If you're from Pittsburgh, then your answer is probably the Penguins.
I have been told that I must mention Humboldt penguins, which are adorable, and they are. Thank you, Ray. They are very
If
good.
Antarctica was a country, what place would it be in terms of size?
First.
If it was a country, not a continent.
Right. So like how like Russia's like the largest country, Vatican's the smallest country. Where would Antarctica be if it was a country?
I'll say third place.
That
it's
is
not third
incorrect.
place.
Second place?
That
It
is
is
right.
second.
Okay.
20
See, I
seconds
felt
for
that was
Harry.
too easy.
Well,
I told you we're out of trick questions.
That's true. I metagamed
I think-
myself.
If it was a trick question, it would probably be first.
Well, I said first, and then it wasn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's about 1.4 million square miles larger than Canada, which is the current second place largest country, and 1.5 million square miles smaller than Russia. So kind of right in the middle of the two.
Yeah,
It's big.
Yeah.
it is big. It's the largest. It would be the largest country in the southern hemisphere, though.
Yeah.
It was.
Because I think that's
So-
where most of the land is in the southern hemisphere.
It really, yeah.
That's
In fact,
pretty
you
big,
might
yeah.
say a third of. It's only a third. Wait,
What?
there isn't a
It
bit
isn't-
here. Moving on.
Antarctica is in 3 hemispheres.
True.
But
South, west, and east?
yeah.
Yep.
Save.
You know, I was actually confused by that one. I am doomed.
This is the hemispheres episode. We are teaching everyone.
Artwork for Skyward Sword, shown at E3 2009, featured a darker graphical style reminiscent of Twilight Princess. According to Miyamoto, why did this change for the final release?
Didn't he want it to be more like child friendly or something? Like,
That is incorrect.
well,
Maybe, but that's
I
not
mean,
the main
that's
reason,
not
at
the
least.
stated reason, at least, yeah. A hint, it is a mechanical reason.
They thought the graphics couldn't handle it?
Nope.
they wanted to keep it at 60 FPS.
Yes,
that is
Zelda
incorrect.
is known for doing that.
And I don't know if that game is a 60 FPS game.
Yeah, sure.
It's probably somewhere in between Ocarina of Time and Link. They just want to contrast with Twilight Princess, like style-wise,
No, it is like a gameplay mechanics
and
reason.
gameplay mechanics.
All right, what were the items in that game? Probably something to do with like the wild items.
Is it because of like the parallel world thing where you need to get the like those you have like collectathon and that wouldn't be like contrast enough? Like that's already dark, so they didn't want
You are on the right track.
because the final boss was dark enough for the rest of the game already.
That is that incorrect. I just had a side note. I just had a moment from watching randomizers of this where I like watched you all pass the chest, and I was like, "Wait, aren't you supposed to grab that? Wait, what?"
I do that every time when I do vanilla.
I'm sure.
So.
Any other
All right,
ideas?
yeah.
So the collectathon, I'm trying to play off that. Did the Triforce not render right? I don't know.
That's not right. Any final guesses?
Was it before they decided that it was going to be like huge in the sky and the sun was going to be everywhere?
That's incorrect. The answer is it was too difficult to tell how enemies were holding their weapons.
And I wouldn't have gotten there.
Yeah,
That is-
because it.
Oddly specific.
Well, it's because it used the Wii Motion Plus, and so
Okay,
their
that's
worry
true.
was that because like, oh, the it's going to be such an accurate in theory with your hand that like versus like the waggleness of like Twilight Princess, that if you can't see exactly where the weapons are easily, then you won't be able to properly parry and stuff. Apparently, at one point, the development team was like, "We're not using this. This stinks." And then executives pressured them into bringing the Motion Plus back.
I'm with the people who were there initially. It was not my favorite part about that game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I've heard that as a criticism. Yeah.
Yeah. In general, like,
Blame the
that
execs.
is like the weakest part of the Wii Zeldas is the fact that they're on the Wii.
Yeah. I thought it was novel and was kind of fun to play. But it doesn't like have the same replay value, I feel.
The novelty wears off is the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I feel like Odyssey is a very similar issue where it's like, all right, this was fun for a bit. Could I please just not now?
Right.
Motion
Motion controls are very hit or miss. They work in some cases, but I feel like in games like Mario or Zelda, it's like kind of feels forced sometimes. Like
Well,
stuff
a lot
like
of times
Wii
it
Sports,
is, right?
Yeah, like stuff like
It
Wii
definitely
Sports
can be.
needs motion controls, but does Zelda really need motion controls? Debatable.
I like get why they wanted to, given that like it makes sense, right? As like a sword versus while holding a Wiimote, that's like there's like a 1-to-1-ness to that. But
Right.
like if they made like a Zelda VR, that would make sense. I don't want to even consider
We should
the
put
Switch
motion
running
controls in
VR.
everything.
The Switch running VR would run at like 4 frames per second and instantly make you nauseous. But other than that,
Forgot that was a feature. Anyone else?
The only
wanna
thing, usually, I guess, with the motion controls is, you know, pretending to have a sword, you end up like knocking your mom's lamp off the table.
true.
That was yeah, that was the Wii.
All right, to be fair, if you read the manual and you saw the diagram of giving yourself a wingspan worth of space around you.
Yeah, what if I don't have the
and
space?
You wore the wristband, then you would have been fine.
It's like
You were
regular
s-
VR. It's like I try and make it work with the space that I have, then I end up accidentally punching the wall and it sucks.
You're assuming I read, though. I just wanted to get true.
Well, that's why the
I'm-
Wii motion safety guy is at the start of every Wii game. So you know.
Yeah, I'm part
I'm
of
being
that problem,
told-
I think.
I'm being told the Switch is VR, and I know there's like the Labo VR. I don't count that.
No, yeah. Well, that's basically what it is. Like
Yeah.
you like put the cardboard on the Switch
Yeah.
and then you put that to your face and it's like vaguely VR.
The cardboard
Which-
VR is very different than like headset VR.
Yeah.
I would think.
I heard about it getting announced, and then I never heard of it ever again. So I assumed it was kind
It's
of
in
flop.
it's in like 3 titles. It's in Smash, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and maybe like a couple other games. But it's not. I don't think it's a common feature,
Yeah.
unless it is.
I
might be
honestly-
wrong, but
When they announced Labo, I was like, this is weird and cool. But I'm also not buying $80 of cardboard.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
I
cardboard.
thought about it.
it's a lot of
Yeah, I
cardboard.
Yeah. Like
thought
building
about
it
getting
seems
it.
fun.
Right.
But then you run into like the Wii plastic peripheral issue of like, I don't want to store these in my house.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am very
You have
bad
to,
at
like-
just having stuff.
You have to rent a vacation home just to have your Labo.
And this
Yeah,
is where I
exactly.
store all of my cardboard.
Like Lego is already enough of a problem with that. Where like you build a Lego set and you're like, well, this is gonna sit here forever now, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nintendo is pretty good at making stuff that just like require, or it doesn't require, but like just has peripherals that are just like not good.
Link's for
Mostly the
crossbow
Wii,
training.
but-
Come on. It's great.
Hey, some are good, like Link's crossbow training,
Yeah.
but some aren't. Like the
a good
billions
game.
of the billions
I
of
mentioned-
foam tennis rackets.
I might have mentioned this earlier, but yeah, that was Link's Crossbow Training was supposed to be a Twilight Princess sequel, and then Miyamoto was like, no. And apparently the development team was like super bummed.
Miyamoto was wrong.
Imagine getting a new game and then suddenly it's a $20 side game.
Whoa.
Yay!
It was so much fun. I spent a lot of time on that game.
I always wanted it, but I never had it. As a
It
young
had that
Wii
NES
user.
vibes.
Yeah. I had Carnival games on the Wii, which is pretty much the same thing,
Carnival
right?
Games was pretty good. I'll say it. As
I'm
a
pretty sure it
10-year-old,
wasn't, but yeah,
as a
when I was
10-year-old,
young,
it was
I was
great.
like, yeah,
does it hold
this
up
is fun.
today? Probably not. They made a game on the
Almost
Switch.
certainly. Did they?
Yeah, there's a Carnival Games
Oh.
on Switch. Anyways, sidetrack over temporarily.
Dang it.
We'll get back to it. What is the name of the single most populous island in the world?
Australia.
It is not Australia.
Oh,
Eurasia. Wait.
Okay, well, technically, but
Yeah. Okay.
technically everything is an island when you think about it.
You got a second. You got a second for that.
Yes.
Begrudging second.
The well actually second is earned.
I'll take it. Is it Japan?
It's not Japan.
It's not Japan.
can it be a group of islands or is it one island?
It
It
is
is
one island.
One single island. If you say the country, I'll give you a couple seconds.
Oh, I was gonna say the Philippines maybe, but
It's not the Philippines or any island in it. Though that is a pretty island-rich area.
indeed. Playing the odds.
Yeah, I'm guessing New Zealand has fewer people than Japan.
Believe that's correct.
Yeah, I don't think in New Zealand is that
No.
Monaco-y.
It's not like
Monaco.
it's not the island that has England, is it?
Nope.
No. It's
There
not
are a
Great
lot of
Britain.
islands that have about 30 million people, and I think that's one of them. Australia is one of them. The main island of Japan is one of them.
More than 30 million people.
Yes, this is a lot more than 30 million.
That's a lot of people.
There are a lot of people on this island.
How do
Someone
we
said
not
Lego
know?
Island, and that's a good second answer.
Would you all like a hint?
Sure.
Yeah?
This island runs on 3 billion devices.
The dynamic island.
It's not that.
I'm blanking.
What is the
Fair,
island?
that was a very.
wait.
That,
Java?
that is right.
Yes.
We'll give you 15 seconds for it. 15
Yeah.
seconds for Ari
Oh my
for knowing
God,
which
so-
island runs on 3 billion devices.
May is killing it with the hints today.
Yeah, my hits today, I actually think have been pretty on point.
Yeah, it is. It's in Indonesia, and it has over 141 million people.
What? I did
That's
not
a
know
lot.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
That people's a lot.
That's so many people. How many? Because the U.S. is like what, 350 million?
Yeah.
So it's half a U.S. on one island.
And the density of it is about
That's just an
1,000
S.
people. 1,000 people per square kilometer, which is not as much as Monaco, but still a lot.
That's a lot.
As we mentioned earlier, Mongolia has the lowest density. The population density in Mongolia is 2 people per square kilometer. So,
Not a lot.
yeah.
That's not very many.
It is also not a lot.
For more on that level of population density, check out the documentary Death Stranding.
Oh gosh.
The totally real nonfiction.
All right, to be fair to Death Stranding, it is a game that came out in 2019 about society not being able to connect because of an unseen threat, and the most important people in society are delivery men.
Weird.
Yeah, which is so a
Haven't
little
heard that one before.
cognizant there.
That
Yeah,
seems semi-topical.
A little bit.
Or appropriate, rather. Yeah.
Basically, Kojima knew,
Yeah.
Kojima knew.
but do you know?
That depends. It's 50% chance.
That would have been good. That would have been good if you weren't trying to find a question.
Do you know? I don't even know how I'd segue that the first time. U.S. Eastern Time is UTC -5. What is the largest UTC offset in terms of time zones?
The place or the number?
The number.
+9?
It is not +9.
Is it +12?
It is
not
not +12. And that
-11?
would make sense. Nope. It is the largest positive offset.
Positive,
Oh,
yeah.
positive.
Not
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
meant. It is the
So
largest
+11.
absolute value. Yeah. It's not 11.
not 11.
+10.5.
Nope.
No, but that probably exists.
Probably.
All right,
Big fan of the,
+9.5.
Nope.
Oh.
+10.5?
Nope.
It is a whole number. But
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll say +8, and I'm probably hogging the guesses.
Nope.
it's not +8.
You each get 2 more guesses.
Higher than 12
All right.
doesn't make sense, does it? Does it? I don't know, my brain's not working. +14?
Is
14
It is
is
plus
right.
14.
That doesn't make... Okay, I guess it makes
It
It
sense.
doesn't make
make
sense.
sense.
You're right. It
doesn't,
definitely
yeah.
does not.
doesn't?
10 seconds for
So,
Harry.
if you ever like me and just open Google Earth, and you look at the international dateline, it is very weirdly shaped. There's like a big spike in the middle of it that goes off to the right, and that's where the time zone is +14. So the lowest offset is -12. So at any given time, there are 2 locations on Earth that are 26 hours apart, which are both in the Pacific. It makes no sense, but it's a thing.
So you can just move a couple 100 miles and then you're just
Pretty
a day
much.
behind or a day ahead. That's
Yeah.
great.
The international dateline is really weird.
Imagine
The
being
Central
it-
Pacific Republic of
confusing.
Kiribati introduced a change for its eastern half on the 31st of December 1994 from the time zones UTC -11 and -10 to UTC +13 and +14. Before this, the time zones did not exist.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not +14 and it should be. Time zones should be normal, but they're absolutely not.
They are absolutely not.
abolish all time zones. They're confusing.
It's because
That's what China did.
It's because when it was a British colony, it was west of the dateline, and then 2 of the islands after independence were the other side, and so it just completely messed up their
Yeah.
ability to say what day it was.
So dumb. That's
There was a
really
case.
dumb.
There was a case some amount of years ago where I think it was American Samoa. They were just like, we're gonna move time zones, and they skipped an entire day because they moved over the international dateline. So December 30th of some year just never happened
Yeah.
for that island.
Anybody
Weird stuff.
any programmer knows that you can't make sense of dates. It's just,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Dating is hard.
Times are
Yeah.
quantifying time is actually extremely difficult, it turns out. Check out our episode with A Hat in Time and Celeste if you want more time trivia.
Yeah,
There's a lot of time trivia, and it's honestly pretty interesting, I gotta say.
It is. Trivia is interesting. That's why I'm a host on this show.
Why is this one easy? Whatever, we'll do this one. 10 countries share a border with Brazil. Which 2 countries have the shortest and longest border?
Argentina?
That is incorrect.
Peru?
That is incorrect.
I guess you could just name South American countries. You'll get it eventually.
France?
No, but
That's a
but
good
callback.
guess.
Good callback.
Actually, yeah. I
And there
don't
are
think it
2
has the
answers for this,
longest.
but I accidentally put it in the system wrong, so it's listed as 1.
I guess it wasn't going to be France because there were no trick questions.
See, that was a
I
trick.
don't-
There are trick questions.
I feel like this one's easy if you're a geography person and not otherwise.
Or from South America. I didn't rate
Sure,
this
yeah,
question.
yeah.
So,
Like, I'm okay at geography, I guess, but not South America. That's not my routines.
Apparently, I barely know the U.S., so
Stats up, so.
it happens. What other South American countries are there that might border Brazil?
Suriname?
Suriname is the shortest.
That is the shortest.
oh,
That'll be. I'll go 10 seconds because
I'll give you
Suriname's
10
kind of
seconds for
obscure.
10 seconds for
And then the
Ari.
longest.
See, that one's less obscure for me, so.
Right.
Because
I think in the
Dutch.
grand scheme of things, right.
Yeah, normally that answer would show up on screen, but I did a goof.
trying to
happens.
think of. I just see Brazil on the map, and that is all I can see.
Yeah, I feel that. I can see like
That makes
Brazil,
sense.
and I could see like Argentina and Chile, and like
Oh, Chile.
Uruguay.
Right. Okay, so it's not going to be Chile.
And redacted because it's the answer. That one's
Yeah.
there.
yeah, I see that one too.
And, you know,
That's. What else? I'm going to feel stupid. Is Venezuela? Is that South American?
Oh,
yes,
that's
but
a
it is
good
not
guess.
the answer.
It is not the answer. I'll give you each one more guess.
I clearly can't get this chest today.
Oh no.
I'm sitting here thinking, what's beside Venezuela?
Good. It's Brazil.
This is true. What is there? I have to, I guess, fold. My brain is broke.
Yeah,
All right.
It is Bolivia,
Bolivian? Oh,
the
yeah, okay.
country in the center of South America, basically, has the longest border with Brazil.
Whoops. Yeah, okay. That's gonna happen, I guess. Uh-oh. No. You ever just lose half your magic bar?
Not when I'm playing
No.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I play Twilight Princess. I can't do that.
I gotta like. All right, let's do this. Let's do this one.
Easy.
What non-island country has the lowest average elevation?
Lowest elevation.
The Netherlands.
Average It is
It is
not the
not the
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
It is 2 meters lower on average.
Yes.
I am shocked and
meteors?
appalled.
I know. I definitely would have thought it was Netherlands immediately, but it is extremely close. okay. We'll have a good hint when you don't know.
I have
this
a hint for I have a hint for this one.
Is it Switzerland?
It is
It's
not
not
Switzerland.
Okay.
That's
They,
pretty
they do have the
mountainous.
Matterhorn. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What doesn't have? What doesn't have?
It's. I'll say it's definitely not something you would really think of when you think of low elevation.
Yeah, but it is a country that
Like Switzerland.
Yeah.
it is a country that is like very relevant in current things that are about to happen, I guess.
Ukraine?
No, that's current things that are happening.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna be more direct, but when we get there.
Yeah.
About to happen.
About to happen.
This is a hint that it works much better if you're in Europe than it does if you're in America.
We clearly need more of those.
All right, I'll give the more direct hint. If this will be for halftime. If you are a football or soccer fan, you should know about this country.
Yeah, I don't care what. Oh, it's soccer.
Well,
Is it Saudi
Well-
Arabia?
it's not.
Oh wait, this just came up. I know what you're getting at now.
Wait.
Do you know the name of the country?
No, but I know that they just got the World Cup.
Qatar.
It is Qatar.
It is.
We'll give you 10 seconds. 10 seconds to
With an average
to area for that
elevation of
one.
28 meters. Netherlands has an average elevation of 30 meters.
Huh.
Yeah, I went into the research for that expecting it to be Netherlands, but I just want to make sure, and that was that. But do you know the island with the lowest average elevation?
Java.
Nope.
It's not
All of them
Java.
that are at sea level?
All of them.
There is one of them.
Yeah,
All of them.
Oh man, is Hawaii pretty low?
No, because Hawaii is
no.
a volcanic.
It's very volcanic.
Yeah.
It's also not a
Australia.
country.
Great Britain.
Great Britain. Really?
Iceland. It's the Maldives.
It's okay.
Huh.
The Maldives' average elevation is 1.8 meters or 6 feet.
What?
That
seems dangerous.
that's problematic.
It is.
Yeah, that's rough.
It is going to be underwater pretty soon. So, yeah.
That's
All right, let's move on from that extreme bummer.
Ooh.
What's the most recent nation to be admitted into the UN? In 2011.
oh.
Is this Jamaica again? Was like that the flag question
It's
earlier?
not Jamaica. Jamaica's been around for a while. Not everything's a callback, but some things are.
Who submitted this?
Me.
Okay.
I wrote this one.
Oh man, UN nation.
It's obviously.
I didn't know
Hyrule.
this for what it's worth.
It's obviously Hyrule.
Hyrule is actually
Yeah.
pending UN ratification and is expected to be in 2025.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Of
seems
course.
good.
I wanted to have a question
But,
of what the next country is going to be, but that's kind of undefined.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Especially
It could be a
considering
lot of
current
things.
situations.
Fun fact,
Yeah.
the Gerudo Kingdom is one of the 4 countries that are fully surrounded by another country.
Whoa. Bonus answer.
Bonus answer.
So this country is located in Africa.
Yeah, that's not.
Probably not going to help too much, but
No.
kind of narrows it down.
Special Alpha again. It's not. Oh.
Is it? It's not Egypt.
No.
Not Egypt. Here's a hint. It has a cardinal direction in its name.
Not South Africa.
I was
not South
just about to
Africa.
say it's not South Africa.
Oh no! I had bombs!
I've never heard of that country, Ari.
The country of Ganondorf.
No!
Is it Morocco? Is Morocco an African country?
That doesn't have a
Yes,
direction in its
it
name.
is. Yeah, that too. It is not the newest, but it is an African country.
But it doesn't have a cardinal direction. I should follow directions.
All right, any other guesses?
No. I'm okay,
It is-
I think.
East Sudan.
Okay,
All right, I'll give
well,
you 10 for that. It's South Sudan.
Oh.
Let's go.
I like click the answers you said it.
yeah, you like snuck that
But-
in.
Yeah. Technically not correct, but close. So good enough.
Alright. Time's coming up once I pass the transition.
Yochiji.
All right, let's
Oh, it's a good run. All things
throw in our
considered.
final Zelda question then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For 10 seconds, what's the best-selling Zelda title of all time?
Breath of the Wild.
Probably Ocarina.
That's
Oh.
right.
Ocker.
10 more seconds to Ari. Okay. At one point, Nintendo had sold more copies of Breath of the Wild than they had Switches at 102%.
What?
How do you even do that?
Launch
People
titles.
buying multiple like collector's editions and stuff, and then also
Oh,
as
yeah,
well as the regular one, as well as people buying the game before they were able to get a Switch in anticipation of getting it.
Amazing.
Like, they were all... Like, it was also on the Wii U, right? So it could be that people bought the Wii U and the Switch version?
No, sorry, this is more copies of Breath of the Wild Switch than they had Switches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy
that's
moly.
nuts.
The second best selling is Twilight Princess, and Twilight Princess sold about a third as many. Breath of the Wild was incredibly successful.
Yeah.
That's wild. It's because the Switch is so
Yeah.
wildly successful.
Also,
I mean, like, yeah, you have like Skyward Sword, but even though the Wii was super popular, but Skyward Sword itself wasn't that popular.
For good reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we. I think the question viewer was currently covering up your time.
Oop.
Yep. Okay. Which is maybe a reason to not ask more questions. What's
But what if we did?
something to think about for ourselves for the future.
Yeah.
We could just ask another one for fun and just not show it. Anyone got any? Sweet's got any fun geography questions off the top of your head so that I can answer too?
What's the oldest sovereign nation?
Oldest sovereign nation?
Is it?
This is
Is
a country. It is not. This country has been mentioned earlier, so it has come up in conversation.
Is it?
That it doesn't have to still exist today.
Yes, oldest
Is it
sovereign
Egypt?
nation that still exists. It is not Egypt.
Egypt was one I was gonna guess too.
Right, yeah,
Hyrule.
China and Egypt would be my first two guesses.
It is not either of those. Hyrule is close.
China?
I'm wondering,
no.
because I'm sure is this like when the concept of the nation versus like the concept of the nation versus like.
Yeah, I believe this is like when it not just like a kingdom, like an actual like sovereign state. So
That's hard,
why
'cause
that's why it's like.
I
not
feel like this
China.
is one that's like very difficult in terms of like this is a very like historic. You could get in the weeds in this one in terms of definitions.
Yeah.
Right.
This is very difficult.
This is definitely it's a hard one. But it was mentioned earlier.
Oh my God, chat keeps guessing Iran, which is a good guess for this, and just getting like new bots just like no.
Well, it's not the correct answer, so
Time.
Yo,
All right.
GG's.
The answer: the oldest sovereign nation is San Marino.
Oh,
What?
that actually makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
It was founded in 301
Sure.
AD as a sovereign state.
Wow. Okay.
So
I wouldn't have gone to that as an answer.
yeah,
No.
definitely
Gotta
not,
wait.
No
not
idea
intuitive.
on that.
We gotta wait a second here for our producer to tally up your final times. While we're waiting,
20
Bring up the stream
seconds for
again.
me.
if y'all got any shout outs,
Please shout them
Shit.
out.
You gonna go first, Erie?
I mean, I just have to give shout outs to the whole community, of course, but especially to Andy, who gave us the opportunity who invited us to this. And I've had a blast, so shout outs to our hosts, because like they've done a great job. So thank you so much.
Thank you for running.
Yeah, I have to echo that myself. This is probably the sweatiest I have ever been playing this game.
Not even because of the game.
Not because of the game at all. And it was just, these questions were so hard. Like, you said in the first series that there's no way to practice, but Ari and I sort of tried yesterday with some friends. And I was so calm during that. I was like, this will be fine. And I was like, so lost this whole time. But it's been a blast. So thank you guys for bringing us on for this.
look, we always say, like, it's important to be fast. It's important to get questions right if you want to win, but it's more important to have a good time.
Oh yeah, this was a great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, this is an amazing idea, like an amazing concept. So I hope.
I think there was. Go ahead. Sorry.
I hope this continues for a long time. And I'll be sure to tune in from now on.
Oh yeah, same. Like this was. I think probably my cam tells the truth. Like I wasn't smiling for maybe a couple minutes. Like so yeah, it was a great time.
Thank you all so much, and thank you all for being on our show, and thank you all at home for watching. Before we leave you for this evening, we do have a couple announcements.
Yeah, we have a good bit actually. Your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick, both with hotfix and with HDQ 2023 costs, so please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to press the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content like this, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Next weekend, we have a King of the Silent Hill, which will be a series of races featuring the Silent Hill series. We will also have the Captain Toad Anniversary Special. Each of those will start at 1 p.m. Eastern next weekend, November 19th and 20th, respectively. Tune in tomorrow for PB Precipice starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, followed by It's Dangerous to Go Alone.
That does it for all of us here. Despite my best efforts, I still have not come up with a snappy outro. So keep thinking and keep fast.
Yep.
I'll workshop it.